I don't know why this never occurred to me before, but when this ass was being pulled on this little thing, it's like, sit down. Just sit down. What?
Well,
what are you trying
one thing that we always say is like, where the did he get on that at? Like,
on the side of the river.
Did you spawn? Is this your spawn point?
He's a clone. He comes into existence.
Other people on the other side of the river.
He doesn't appear to have been coming from anywhere.
So random.
And they're just pulling him the whole way.
Try this mashed potatoes. E.T. would like a Reese's Piece. This child robot's out here looking for love. Two mice fell in a bucket of cream.
The Oasis is where we go gunting. Bingo, Dino, DNA. Indiana Jones and his greaser's son find ancient aliens from outer space. So we made this change to our podcast, talking Spielberg until school reconvenes. We're ambling on bikes, our parents got a divorce. This is the temporary low-bearing beams.
Hello, this is Load Bearing Beams presents the Summer of Spielberg. I'm Matt Stokes.
I loved it.
I'm Laci Roth. I was too excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're coming to you from the control room, of course.
It's our garage.
The control room that is the garage. We're running everything here, and we have on the line our special guests, where they're sitting in a self-driving Ford Explorer. We're talking to
Their
them
headlights do not work.
We're talking via interactive CD-ROM. It's Kristie. It's AJ. It's In Love with Horror. Hey
you
guys.
know them. You love them. Hi.
What's up, everybody?
Hi.
Do you want to tell us all about the essence?
Tell everybody who you guys are and about In Love with Horror and what you do.
Why you get pass it to me?
You
You
always
do it
pass
so
it to Kristie.
eloquently.
That's why, AJ, because
She
you
does
always
it
pass
way
it to
better.
Kristie.
Hey, she does it better. But hey, look, we're In Love with Horror. We're horror content creators. We talk about horror movies. We do the reviews, the reactions, the discussions. Everything horror is over on our channel. You can check us out on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Apple. Is that everything?
Yeah.
TikTok, whatever. Yeah.
You said that.
But yeah, we're In Love with Horror. AJ and Kristie.
They do gaming horror stuff. They do books horror stuff. They watch different events and then give you a recap of those events, like awards and shit for horror. I don't know. They know about stuff other people don't know.
Yeah.
So
I actually find it very, very helpful to just keep up with horror movie releases, which I kind of struggle to do because I love horror movies, but they're making a new horror every week.
Every
week.
And series.
Yeah.
They had a whole thing on True Detective, and then Creep is making a series.
Mm-hmm.
I know about that because of Kristie and AJ. Our dog is being noisy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, puppers.
Well, how did y'all? I mean, what's your story? How'd you get into horror movies, and why do a horror movie podcast?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. So I've always been the mega horror fan my entire life, and Kristie has dabbled in it, but then
semi
dabbled into it. But then once we got together, I slowly started to corrupt her and got her deeper and deeper into horror, and now she loves it.
Yeah.
But it was a funny journey because I used to mess with her all the time, especially when we were first dating, and I would force her to watch just really fucked up, scary movies, and then tease her about it and
Heavy on
scare
the
her.
fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't joyful for her, but it was very funny for me.
Scarred for life, bitch.
Right. Yep. But as a result, right, we always wanted to do something like a podcast or something together, and we were trying to figure out, well, what would we do it on?
Yeah.
And a common point for us is horror movies. So, thus the In Love with Horror podcast.
Was it because me and Matt have a similar story in that we knew we wanted to do a podcast for years, and it's at a Chuck E. Cheese or something, we just throw out an idea and we'd be like, does that have legs? I don't know. And then months later, something else would. But then when this came up, we were both like, that's it. We just kind of realized it was time. Did that happen for you guys too?
Basically, because I think we talked about it for a while, and we were like, oh well, we could talk about relationships and marriage.
Yeah,
and they were like, nah, let's not do that. And then we also want to talk about all stuff, and then we were like, well, maybe we should hone it in.
Down,
Yeah. And so we kind of settled on horror, for a couple of different reasons, because we both enjoy it. Also because not a lot of Black people show up within that community either.
Very true.
And so we just kind of wanted to be that voice within the horror community. And then, you know, because a lot of people that do enjoy, Black people that enjoy horror, don't really have that voice. So we kind of wanted to just, you know, put our little stamp in the community.
Yes,
Well
for
said.
sure. And then you're a double niche, because I also find that it's majority men, white men specifically in this space. So like even though I'm not horror, it's like movies in general. For some reason, the ability to go to a movie and talk about it is like strictly dickly.
Yeah, read some of the comments. We have this.
The comments are so mean.
This
to
video
me.
of ours about Mad Max took off, and so it's just total strangers, which is nice. It's great, but it's like, oh, okay.
As soon as it
They
goes
hate
a few
Laci.
miles out, it's just like living in a major city and then going 30 minutes away and realizing it's fucking scary over there. It's like
Yep.
when the video is with our friends, I get nice comments, and as soon as it gets some legs, that bitch is annoying. She doesn't know anything, and she only likes to complain about stuff. I'll bet she makes his dick limp. Like, okay, right.
Yeah, and see, Kristie, she's one of those people where like she takes like all the comments to heart, and I'm just telling her,
I know.
like, you gotta stop
Me
fucking
too.
reading the comments.
I
Like,
know.
She'll get
It's
like real
hard.
bothered. I'm like, these are fucking internet trolls.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that shit.
I've
Like,
gotten a little bit better with it now, though.
But it's also important. Like, you're supposed to engage with people if people are commenting, but you might find some of them are assholes.
They can be neutralized
Yeah.
though. They don't expect you to come back, and they don't expect you to not take the bait. So I have figured that out. It's when I go in hot that it just goes back and forth.
yeah,
But it's all I have to do is stop myself and say, what kind of person stops what he's doing to say something mean to someone else's video that they made time to do? I wouldn't even be friends with that person anyway. What am I trying to prove to this?
their life is probably super miserable.
Right. That
And-
man is himself,
they're
and
doing
that's
that.
bad enough.
They're probably fire hosing like negative comments
Or just-
too. Just
Yeah.
negative comment, negative comment.
Yeah.
Just twisting their nipples, waiting for people to write back. It's like it's the kink. Ooh, who's mad at me?
Right. Exactly.
Oh, all right. Well,
So, but wait, on the subject of horror movies and Jurassic Park, is Jurassic Park a horror movie?
Hands down.
Yeah, we say yes. That's actually one of the things we always like to bring up. Like,
Because it is.
this shit is a horror movie for sure.
It's scary.
Yep.
A giant damn
Jump scares.
dinosaur. And present day.
Yeah.
right.
That's crazy.
You're right. As soon as
That's
there's a
scary.
power outage, you're in horror land. That's
Yep.
there's something that was being
Yep.
kept in from power, and now it is out.
It's
Horror.
unleashed.
It is unleashed.
Yep.
Yeah, I think.
Yep.
I mean, I think it's a lot of like. I do sort of love the semiotics of how do you define a genre, and this is horror, and it's also sci-fi, and it's also disaster, but like it has so much horror in it, and some of just the best
The shots,
horror filmmaking that there is.
Absolutely.
the kitchen
Yeah.
scene.
Yep.
Jurassic Park '93.
Classic.
You guys love this movie, and I think Kristie specifically, you love this movie.
I absolutely love this movie.
Down to the fine details. I feel like you guys were talking
Yep.
about that there's a Jurassic Park video game coming out or was coming out. And you
Yes.
noticed
Yeah, there's
that
one
there's
It's coming out.
Yep.
and you noticed that there's like a hat on the ground when you first opened to the I was like, what the fuck is she How is she connecting hats? I don't understand. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kristie is a super mega fan.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking to
Every-
the max. Yeah.
Type in her name in the Google. Every picture is the Jurassic Park shirt. Different ones. Long sleeve, short sleeve. Okay.
Well, we usually start off by like everybody gives their history with the movie, and we're talking about this movie because you guys love this movie and I love this movie. I often say on the podcast it's the movie I've seen the most. And it's honestly, we've covered big movies on the show. We've covered Star Wars, but for some reason, this is the movie that intimidates me the most to talk about. It feels so huge to me.
Yeah.
Every second of it is iconic, but I can't tell if it's iconic because I've seen it 900 times
A bit.
or because
I agree with that.
it actually is. So I wanted to play this little game. I feel like this movie has like 50 amazing quotes.
Can I say the one that's already on the screen?
And can we just say amazing quotes from Jurassic Park until we run out?
All right, how are we going to go? Clockwise? What are we doing here?
Laci, you go first.
Damn it! Clever girl. That's all I got.
That's probably what you were going to say.
That's a good one. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to say, shoot her!
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay, my turn. Okay. I don't want to. I will take this from you.
Wait, we taking?
I'm not gonna take it.
Wait, which one are you taking? I'm gonna pick the easiest one.
Don't do it, Kristie, because I got one more. I got one more.
Okay. All right, let me think. Something that y'all won't say.
Don't take the easy one.
I'm not gonna take it. Okay, I want to make it short. I don't want to do a long one. So, you bred raptors?
You bred raptors.
They do move in herds.
Oh, I didn't know you were gonna say that. Okay.
They should all be destroyed.
Bingo. Dino DNA. That one's our song.
That's a good one. Okay,
Oh, I have
is my
another
turn?
one. I have
Yeah.
It's not your
Are those
turn,
are those autoerotica?
I was gonna say that one. I love that line. That shit is hilarious.
that is why that line specifically, and Spielberg is so good with this in his movies. The fact that like John Hammond doesn't like do a double take, but just knows what he means and keeps going with the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do like a spit take, like, what did you
Right.
say?
It's a joke nestled. It's a normal, let's keep going.
It's like actual human behavior. I love it. And he trusts you, the audience, are going to understand that it's funny, but that this
Exactly.
seems real in this insane movie that's happening. So can y'all each tell me, what's your history with Jurassic Park, the movie, the franchise, the novel? Tell me about your history with it.
Do you want to go first?
AJ
Oh yeah,
first.
sure. Yeah, I'll go first. I guess that's the theme for this
Go
show
first.
here. I know I've seen the first one as a kid, right? But to be honest, I don't remember my experience with it as a kid, because as a child, I actually watched Jurassic Park 3 like a fuck ton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but as a kid, I really liked it. And even to this day, we talk about how much you say it sucks. I'm like, I watched it so much as a kid, you know, like I fuck
Second
with
best
it, but-
Jurassic Park.
Where's my
Yeah,
soundboard? Damn.
And then like the cell phone, yeah, all
Yeah.
that shit.
Well, wait, wait,
it wasn't-
It
AJ,
was a satellite phone.
AJ, sorry. Yes, it was a satellite phone, of course. Important correction. Does this line resonate with you?
Yeah, AJ, Matt delivers it perfectly.
See
And
anything yet? No, not yet. Do you know that line? That is the stepdad from the beginning of Jurassic Park 3, and then
Yep,
it comes up again because they watch the footage on a camcorder.
Right. Matt says it all the
And
time.
I've been obsessed with that line reading for 20 years of this is weird. No, not yet.
Yep. That's pretty good.
Now I've poisoned you with it, so you're welcome.
Yay.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
was great.
Now she knows I repeat shit around the house
Yeah,
the
he
same
does.
way.
See anything yet?
No, not yet.
See anything yet?
No, not yet.
But it wasn't until I got older that I was revisiting Jurassic Park 1 again, and kind of like fell in love with it all over again. And then obviously, being with Kristie, we watched this shit as the going to sleep movie, like, because I'm one of those people that likes to have the TV on.
Me too.
Yeah.
So she's like, the only like compromise is if you play Jurassic Park. So we end up falling asleep to fucking Jurassic Park a lot of
Just
times.
both of you growling at each other.
But yeah, so I mean, that's like my brief history with Jurassic Park, like as a franchise. Go ahead, Beth.
Okay, so I've always loved the movie, but it wasn't actually until we had children that I kind of like fell in love with it more, especially with our 8-year-old, because there was a phase where he went through that he was like Jurassic everything.
All dinosaurs.
I mean, he still likes dinosaurs, but not as much as Kong and
He's a kaiju fan now. He's a Godzilla fan.
yeah, Godzilla.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when he went through that phase, I kind of was like reintroduced to it, and I guess I got stuck in it. So
You're still on the island.
I'm still on the island. And then he started watching that Camp Cretaceous show on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And then now I watch it, no one else watches it. So like
That's like me in
I'm invested.
Minecraft videos. I'm still watching Minecraft all the time without
I'm
my
invested.
kid.
I'm super invested now.
And they have a new show coming out, right?
They have a new show coming
now or
out,
something?
Chaos Theory,
Yeah.
super hard. But yeah, like, so I'm super invested into the world, but I don't know. I just really always liked dinosaurs anyway. So I just got stuck in it. But this movie is just super perfect. And then when we started doing this and, we personally have goals of like, creating our own films, writing scripts and things like that. And we kind of like,
know that.
that was one of the scripts that we read and watched the movie with. And it's just like super eye-opening. I don't know. That's a really weird experience, watching a movie and reading the script at the same time.
Do you know, was it the shooting script?
There was a lot of, what do you say, Matt?
Well, because this is like one of those movies that had like a billion different scripts over the years. I assume it was probably the shooting script, the final.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But yeah.
I was going to say, we were
like,
very surprised by the amount of detail in the script.
Lots of detail.
Because when what's his name slips, isn't that in the script?
It
like
is.
they actually put it in the script.
Wayne
where
Knight for him to go down that little babbling
Because
brook.
I always used to think that was an accident because the way that they do it, it seems unintentional.
Right. It's like, well, I'm going to leave that in.
Right.
Yeah.
He played that off so well.
Yep.
But it's like,
No,
But
Wayne
yeah,
Knight,
no.
do that
I just
8
love
more
it.
times.
Laci,
Yeah.
what about you and Jurassic Park? Because I realized this week, like, this movie is not totally in your DNA the way it is for me.
They know. Well,
Yeah.
but I mean, it is and it isn't. It wasn't one I watched over and over again, but I watched it enough to. I know the beats, and as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, I know this part. Oh, no. And I'm always moved by the 2 child actors and the how good they are, how real they seem, their reactions to things, how I like both of them and want to protect both of them, and how they instantly like Dr. Grant and like just like, you're just gonna take care of us, right? And just it's so sweet.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna, because I could totally see that happening to me. I feel like it does all the time.
It does happen.
It's
to
like
you.
kid at Walmart got their legs stuck in a grocery cart, and I'm like, I'm gonna save this child.
No, but I am the
actually-
Alan.
The mom is right there, and I'm like, I've got it.
I am the Alan Grant though, who would get like stuck with like the kids imprinting on me. I'm like, go to her.
love that.
Go to her.
But he loved it at the end. Okay, but so my big claim to
did.
fame with Jurassic Park is that it was the first movie I saw in one of the theaters that are like stadium seating. That's when our town first got like a grand or whatever the fuck it was, a palace.
The Palace.
The
yeah.
Palace.
Oh, did you two see it in theaters? I don't.
No.
I don't know if
I
you're.
saw it in theaters. I'm old as fuck. That's the
We
other
are
thing.
old. We are very old people.
I didn't.
No, I don't think I saw it in theaters, but I do remember my town got stadium seating. And that was fucking cool. I will say that. Yeah.
Better remember that. You almost got on my shit list.
I did not see it in theaters. I saw it on VHS. It was like a special treat. My parents were like,
Yep.
okay, you can watch Jurassic Park. I remember being in the kitchen hiding from the velociraptors as they stalked Lex and Tim in the
that's a perfect
kitchen.
thing to act out. I want to go do it right now.
But I wasn't acting. I was
Oh.
actually scared.
You
I
idiot.
would have nightmares for years about dinosaurs in my house. And I think one of the reasons I like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is because it brings dinosaurs into the house, which is something
Yeah,
I
super cool.
was terrified of as a kid. It was just one of the VHSs that I had, and for some reason got stuck on it, watched it a billion times. The Star Wars movies, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and eventually I got The Lost World, and eventually I got Jurassic Park 3. So I've seen all 3 of those movies so many times.
I have so many copies of this. I have 3.
I think I love it. I love it. I watched every Spielberg movie in order 2 years ago, and that was kind of the genesis for us doing this
wow.
this series.
Yeah, that's how he gets me horny for sex. Is
and
telling me stuff like this.
Do you think it works?
Did you watch it chronologically? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Spielberg,
spared no
huh?
expense, but
Splurgeberg.
Nice. I
Spare
like
no
that. I like that.
and I have this at number 8, which may seem too low, but every time I've watched it as an adult, I've had the same problem with it, and I had it last night, which is I think like for 70 minutes or so, it's like the best movie ever made. And then for the last 15 minutes of the movie, I think it's one of the best movies ever made. But I think there's like a 30-minute stretch in there that's
doing the math.
kind of boring. I think everything involving Grant and the kids wandering the park is like just okay. And like Malcolm slips into the background and has nothing to do. John Hammond has nothing to do. And that I get a little antsy during those parts.
See, I didn't. I do get what you're saying. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have more?
Oh, just I mean, revisiting it now, what is do you view it the same as you always did? Does it play as magically as it always did for you guys?
It's magical for me.
Yeah, I think the magic is definitely still there for me. Like,
I definitely see what you're saying though, Matt. Like looking at it through that particular perspective, but I don't look at it like that. When I watch Jurassic Park, I don't watch it to like think of it as to critique it. So I think that's probably
Right.
why. I just watch it because it makes me feel really good.
I can't help it. My brain is broken.
It's one of those movies where like you're watching it and you're going from iconic moment to iconic moment.
Yeah.
You know, like
Lily
you don't even
padding.
you almost turn your brain off in those sections. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, my favorite part's coming. You know,
I know.
I've coined a term for that because that is a quintessential component of a load bearing beam. You lily pad. It's like I know my next
Yeah.
favorite thing is coming.
Yeah.
I'm cool waiting. It's like the sweet and the sour. I can go through some sour waiting for that sweet. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I reread the book, and I've read the book tons of times too, but I reread the book this week, and I think the book also seems like it runs out of gas about halfway through. And I think I like the movie way more than the book, but I think there is something just inherently, once everything starts to go wrong, there's not that much else to happen. At least in the
Right.
book. Well, sorry. Are you fans of the book?
No, I'm still got 16 weeks left on the waiting list at the library for it, so I haven't been able to read it.
Oh my god.
Have you ever read it?
No.
No. Well, I don't even know why I asked you. Have you ever read it?
AJ, same.
My bad.
So I'm gonna be the annoying guy who's like, well, in the book, that's
You're
what
always
happens.
the annoying guy that's talking about the
Sorry.
fucking book. Yes.
It is a case. I mean, I think it's for a lot of people, they say like, what are movies where the movie is an improvement over the book? People usually cite Jurassic Park as one. The Godfather usually is an example people have.
Yep.
I think it is a great movie, and Jurassic Park, the book, is just an okay book. With like some really good ideas.
Interesting.
The idea, right? You said Michael Crichton's just like a great idea person, but not so much a storyteller, character developer.
And he's so uninterested in people, in
So he sounds like
characters.
George Lucas that way, which makes sense why Spielberg's so comfortable working with a person like that. Like, he's not going to bastardize what the guy did. He's going to take it and he's going to add to it what that person doesn't already have going for him. So it's like they're kind of a perfect pairing. Spielberg does.
That's a really good point.
Well,
Yeah, and like Lucas, Michael Crichton also was like a business genius.
that's what I'm right. So
Like,
like,
he
they're
got-
just like he's good at finding his counterparts.
Yeah.
Why
Okay.
the original trilogy is so much better for Star Wars.
Whose trilogy?
Star Wars.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're talking about
Because he's talking about George Lucas being an ideal person.
Right, sorry.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, but that's my problem with George Lucas movies is that there's not enough about the people, and it's all about his cool ideas. And Matt loves cool ideas. I need more story. I need more stakes emotionally.
But this movie, I would
myself.
say, doesn't have great characters.
Bitch, are
I
you
think
out
it
of your
has great
fucking
actors.
mind? I am rooting for all of them. I want them all to get
But
off the
that's
island.
different from having like
That's
really
not
deep, rich
different.
characters.
I don't think so. And it's my issue with some older horror movies too. I have to care a little bit that they're about to die. I just do, unless the kills are just so
Got
fucking
to.
mind blowing. And so I think the build up of all and learning who they are and all that in the beginning, it tells me everything. I know who these people are, and if I do, then it's done that.
No, I agree with that. And that is a credit to Spielberg, a credit to the actors, but
Yeah.
they are pretty like thin just as
Sure.
characters, and the basic beats are so basic. Like, this guy doesn't want kids, now he has to protect kids. He
Fine.
does.
It's doing it for
But
me.
like,
I don't
it's,
care.
It's okay. Like, I feel like you're making a movie about dinosaurs. This is not a rich
Yeah.
character
Hey.
study.
Okay, but minus
And
that.
to
go
Matt's
ahead.
point, you know, Chrissy mentioned like we were getting into like screenwriting and stuff, and we were like consuming a lot of education, you know, YouTube about stuff. And a lot of times, what would videos use? Jurassic Park as an example
Yeah.
of like the formula, because it's very like formulaic. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To Matt's point. Yep.
It is, but it's like it's the formula that works, and most movies don't get to be directed
Here's
this
the thing
well
about
with this
formulas.
Kind of,
They only work if you put every ingredient in them. And what I'm saying is, even if it's just a component, he is perfectly nailing just enough of whatever it is he's doing with characters. Like, without that part being successful, you don't have a movie I care about anymore.
And these actors, they're not movie stars. You have Laura Dern and Sam Neill. They're not like, they're from David Lynch movies and weird horror movies and stuff, but like, they're great actors. You can just see it all on their faces, even if it's not necessarily there on the page.
The kids, though, did they go on to do anything else? I fucking love those kids.
The boy whose name I always forget,
Tim.
did go on to act. I think Ariana Richardson, who plays Lex, retired from acting, but
From that movie?
Oh wow.
I don't remember what
one
point she
in Laura
retired.
Dunn?
I'll find out for you. Lacey.
One and done.
I should have. I always try to preemptively answer all of Lacey's questions, but she always slips some past me.
That's right. Slip them.
Surprise.
One more thing before we get into the history of Jurassic Park.
Oh my God, we haven't even started.
I know. What would you guys, as horror movie fans, and you know that it's a law, they have to keep making Jurassic Park movies.
It's
In
a
fact,
law.
production on the new Jurassic Park started yesterday in Thailand.
With Chris Pratt?
No, with
Wow. God.
Scarlett Johansson and who else is it? Someone exciting's in it.
AJ's boo thing.
Well, I mean, shit. I mean, it's ScarJo.
Who's
come
this
on, man.
ScarJo.
Oh, ScarJo is okay.
Chris Pratt?
What would you like to see? What would you like to see just from future Jurassic Park movies?
Yeah, where could they go that would titillate you?
Is this
The end.
Well, is this
Right?
is this new movie like a reboot or is it a continuation of
No,
the,
I didn't find any
Jurassic World.
details. But like, forget that it's happening.
What's
Just
that?
if
Chris Pratt in there, right?
no, he's not in it.
I'm
Oh,
actually
he's not in
grateful.
it? Okay.
No, and Gareth Edwards is directing, and I'm sure it just takes place in the world of.
Ooh,
But they
Gareth
keep
Edwards
have to
is there.
inventing
Oh,
reasons
shit.
why these dinosaurs are still around.
Well, you didn't see the last one, which. Ugh,
Oh,
Dinos
okay.
in space.
That's what I said. Or dinosaurs in hell. Like that, we're going to need to go to a different dimension. Every dino everywhere, all at once.
I would do it. Yeah.
Dino
Yeah,
dimensions.
Yeah, because unless they don't do
with hot
something
dog
wacky,
fingers.
I'd want them
Right.
to try to just maybe like go like downsize it and just create like some
Yes, go simple and
Contained.
thriller.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I'd want to see something simple again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this. I know you don't like Jurassic Park 3, but I watched every Jurassic Park movie
Who?
this week.
Who
Christy doesn't like Jurassic Park 3.
Because AJ loves it.
And I think that it's a good idea. It's like a horror sequel. It's like Halloween 7 or something. Like, it's just straightforward. It's just dinosaurs got to run from them.
Right.
It just has
Yeah.
a $200 million budget. But like, that's what it's got to be. Treat it like a horror
I
sequel.
want it to be one of those eggs just didn't hatch, and now it has. It's just the oldest,
Yeah, just
meanest.
an egg on a farm,
Just
and
an
you
egg
never leave
on
the
a
farm.
Life finds a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like How to Train Your Dino. Like it's just a house pet. And
Well-
you're trying to keep it from. It's like ET. You're trying to keep it from the government because you know it's going to be a big deal if they find your dinosaur. And it's like,
Yeah.
no.
Would
He's
that
not
be-
like
that wouldn't be
those
scary.
dinosaurs. He's like, he's okay. And then he does
see,
Man,
kill
it would
somebody.
even be cool if they did you know how like they try to create that whole Cloverfield universe and they made that random ass like
Yes,
10
I-
Cloverfield Lane
I like
that was
this
in the
idea.
universe
I like
and it was
this
dope
idea.
as hell. Mm-hmm. Do that with Jurassic Park.
Love
which
it.
is like this offshoot
Oh, found
and a
is it like
random
found
contained
footage?
group of people
Oh.
and like you know some raptors or you know something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
and
that
you
would be
don't
dope.
you don't leave that one setting.
Yes,
Just-
raptors on a boat.
Yeah.
Raptors in the woods. Raptors.
And at sea. You need to be trapped with them.
Yes.
They got to be traptered.
So
Yeah.
and this, they are not doing this. They are
Oh.
Jurassic Park is it's their biggest franchise. Universal. It has product tie-ins and theme parks
Tell me
and
they're
like
not going to the snow.
it has to be as big as possible. But
I
like
hate
that is
snow.
Yeah.
that is I think
They're
where it
going
belongs.
mega big.
Where it belongs is just horror sequel. Just keep it
Right.
simple.
They got to
I-
sell that merch.
Hire an interesting director. Hire a horror director. Or the guy who made Godzilla -1 or something. Somebody
Yeah.
good with VFX, and just let them do something interesting. But they won't.
Yeah.
They will not.
No.
All right.
The history of Jurassic Park. We're gonna start with Michael Crichton.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's an unkind thing to say of the dead, but it is perhaps good that Michael Crichton died in 2008 because
Great.
the way he was going, if he was around now, I think he'd have some truly dreadful things to say.
Okay.
So, like,
Oh, boy.
toward the end of his career,
Was
he
he an
became
ableist?
a well-known climate change denier. And his
Oh, boy.
books are full of thoughts like in The Lost World, which I was rereading this week. Ian Malcolm is complaining about how young scientists like care too much about feelings. And he literally says science doesn't care for your feelings. So like you could see where this guy's going. He has like concerns about foreign cultures taking over America.
Overpopulation.
So
He'd be one of those conspiracy theorist guys.
I think so. I think
Flat
he would.
earthers.
He's
He
6'9". His head's literally in the clouds.
Yeah.
That's a tall motherfucker.
And the other thing is he's 6'9", and Ian
He's mad
Malcolm
about that.
Ian Malcolm is very obviously his avatar. especially in the book. He's tall, he's dressed in black, he's serially divorced, and he's cool as hell.
Fuck yeah, fuck yeah. Fuck. I so thought I was going to find a plot hole whenever Grant asked him, do you have kids? I'm like, you better not say no. I seen your kid. She's a gymnast. You better not say no. And then he's like, yeah. And then they move on. Like, damn it.
Oh, you were going to nail her.
I was going to nail him.
IMDb goofs. He has a daughter. She does gymnastics. But you will see if you read the book, he is like the classic definition of a Mary Sue in fanfic, where the author clearly puts themselves in the book and all the other characters are like, this character's awesome. I love everything they have to say. That is Ian Malcolm in the book. He's like, I'm Michael Crichton. I'm sorry. I'm Ian Malcolm. I'm Malcolm Sue. I have a lot of ideas and everyone's really excited to listen to them.
Sue.
So
you're going to have to shoot me early on in the movie or I'm going to steal the show.
So he published a bunch of novels under pseudonym before publishing The Andromeda Strain in 1969, became a bestseller. And this was also the year he graduated from Harvard Medical School, but he decided to pursue writing instead of being a doctor.
What the fuck?
And then a few years after that, he decided to make a foray into filmmaking. Weirdly, he wrote and directed the movie Westworld.
Stop it.
Has anybody here seen Westworld, the movie Westworld?
Is it just like the show?
No.
Is it the same premise?
It's what the show was based on.
Okay. No, I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, okay. Never seen the OG movie, but love the show.
The movie, I watched it again. I'd seen it before. And like, it's really fun. He's a pretty good director. Might be a better director than he is a novelist. But like, the plot beats are very, very similar to Jurassic Park. You go into this exciting theme park and things start to go wrong. And in fact, one of the park employees in Westworld says, "We spared no expense."
He's definitely a theme park guy. I mean, like, I want to know his experiences at Dollywood.
Yeah,
what broke him at Pillsbury Hills or whatever the fuck it's
Disney
Yeah.
World or something.
And because Disney World started in 1972. So like, theme parks weren't everything
Who
yet.
hurt you, Michael? Yeah.
Yeah. And then he directed 6 other movies. So it's like, he wasn't one and done. He wrote novels and directed movies.
He probably had the biggest dick. I am sick of hearing all this amazing stuff about this man. He needed to die.
So in 1989, he went to meet with Steven Spielberg because Steven Spielberg purchased a screenplay from him based on his days as a medical student. It was set in an emergency room. It was the
theme park.
screenplay that eventually became ER, the show. Michael Crichton also created the show ER.
Is he the George Clooney character?
Probably.
Little bitch. I knew it.
Just making him and Spielberg.
Wow.
Spielberg is an executive producer of ER. They both made probably hundreds of millions of
All
dollars
the
on
money.
that show.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay,
Yeah.
so to read a little bit from a book, this is my source for this is Joseph McBride's biography of Steven Spielberg called Steven Spielberg, a Biography. And it's been very interesting reading this book. This book was written in 1997, and this author likes to psychoanalyze Spielberg, and he says every Spielberg movie is about fatherhood. Spielberg is obsessed with fatherhood. Even Schindler's List is about fatherhood. So that's kind of the through line that I'm getting as I read this book. But here he tells the story of Michael Crichton meeting with him about ER and in 1989, and Spielberg asks, "Well, what else are you up to?" And he says, "I'm working on this novel about dinosaurs. I'm about to publish it." And Spielberg is like, "I like dinosaurs. Could I see it?" So Crichton sends him an advance copy of the novel. Spielberg reads it and he says, "There's going to be a bidding war over this. You're a huge best-selling author. This is, ready-made for a blockbuster movie, but I want to make it." And Crichton's like, "I'd love for you to make it." So they have like a handshake deal, but then Crichton's agents say, "No, we have to have a proper bidding war." So, quote, "The film rights were put up for sale at a non-negotiable asking price of $1.5 million plus a substantial percentage of the gross. Over a 3-day period in May 1990, Crichton weighed matching offers from Warner Brothers for director Tim Burton, Columbia TriStar for Richard Donner, 20th Century Fox for Joe Dante, and Universal for Spielberg. After a day of telephone conversations with all 4 directors, Crichton settled on Spielberg, with Universal throwing in another $500,000 for a screenplay by the author." End quote. So yeah, those were the other directors considered.
Crazy.
And James Cameron said in 2013 that he also put in a bid, but Steven Spielberg beat him to it. And he said,
James Cameron enough yet.
He said, it's good Spielberg made the movie. He made a better movie than I would have made. I would have just made Aliens again, but with dinosaurs.
Yeah,
a very good
I
point.
saw that
Yep.
somewhere. Yeah.
Any of those other directors appeal? Could you see any of those other
I could see
directors
Joe
directing
Dante.
Jurassic Park? Joe Dante would be interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be
Not good.
I just wonder how weird the Tim Burton.
the
one
Tim
would
Burton,
be.
right? Just like, woo, just swirling.
a lot more spirally dinosaurs.
Yes, just the tails
Right.
go.
And Johnny Depp would play all of the dinosaurs.
He'd play all. Of them.
Yeah.
All right,
Right.
let's
Yep.
catch up with Spielberg.
Let's catch. Look at his sweet little.
Last
face.
week we did the E.T. episode and we talked about how the opening to his career was like this miracle run to open his career with Jaws, Close Encounters, Raiders, and E.T. And after that, there's a stretch of time that, while very successful, is like more difficult. And we're going to start with the 1983 Directors Guild Award banquet, where Steven Spielberg is up for Best Director for E.T., but the award goes to Richard Attenborough, who directed the film Gandhi. And Richard Attenborough wins, and he's surprised because he expected Spielberg to win. And so he gets up and he walks over to Steven Spielberg and he says, "It should have been you, my lad." And Spielberg, they'd never met each other before.
Push. There you go. Okay, sorry.
He's like, "I like that guy." From then on, they became good friends, leading eventually for him
cool.
to
That's cute.
play John Hammond in his movie.
Oh, I was just kidding with the voice.
Oh.
Okay, I didn't know it was the same guy. Okay. I don't know men. I don't know voices. I don't know names. Okay, good.
But after E.T. in 1982, the next project that he's working on is The Twilight Zone, the movie, which he's producing. And that movie is an anthology movie where there's 4 different segments, each directed by a different director.
Ooh, like Grindhouse.
And on the set of the segment of the movie directed by John Landis, this horrible accident happens with a helicopter that ends up killing one of the actors, Vic Morrow, and 2 of the child actors who were illegally hired.
Oh yeah.
And Spielberg, though Spielberg wasn't involved with this,
Oh my God.
in the press, people are often grouping him into it because they're like, this is the Steven Spielberg movie. And there are legitimate questions about his capacity as producer. Shouldn't he have known that people
Overseen.
on his movie are illegally hiring child actors and doing unsafe stuff? And there's a criminal investigation into John Landis and civil suits and stuff. And it's just kind of this shadow hanging over Spielberg. And he said it was the darkest period of his life. He was sick to his soul. And in that environment, he made his next movie, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
You could really see the sorrow in that movie.
Well,
Or maybe you can. I don't know.
no. It is a very dark movie. It has the hero Indiana Jones getting possessed by a devil.
Oh, right.
It has a man's heart getting ripped out.
In a fun way.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's actually my favorite.
Really?
Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah, I like it
Yes.
for how weird it is.
good.
I like
Yeah.
how much of a swerve it is, but he got a lot of criticism because people expected a kids movie. They expected E.T. or Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it was much darker. But this is
yeah.
one of the movies that leads to the creation of the PG-13 rating.
So you're welcome,
Yeah.
Trailblaze.
Yeah.
PG-13. Everything's PG-13.
I know. You can't give people a middle of the road. They take the middle every fucking time. Always put the one you want in the
Yep.
middle.
Yeah, because there was this. Apparently, he told the MPAA when the choice was between a PG and an R. He said, "I don't make R-rated movies," and they're like, "Well, okay, yes, then you make PG-rated movies." But it's like the PG-13 rating was invented for him. That's what Jurassic Park is. That's what Independence Day and every Marvel movie is. So
Then The Color Purple. Was that a hit in real time because it's so fucking.
So it was a big commercial hit. The critical reception was mixed. There's controversy over it. A lot of people accused him of just chasing awards and trying to prove I'm a grown-up filmmaker. I don't just make kids stuff.
But it's fun and deep like that. I don't think it seems like Oscar bait. I think it just seems good.
I don't think of it as Oscar bait, but it is it's a very.
He discovered Whoopi.
He did. She's so good in that movie. That was the movie that improved the most for me when I watched it a few years ago for my.
It's one of my load-bearing beams, and he was. You liked it,
but I was mixed negative on it when we covered it on the show, and then a few years ago watched it, and I liked it a lot more. But I think it's like that thing where, for him, a loss is a movie that makes lots of money and gets lots of Oscar nominations, but isn't universally praised.
Yeah.
And he isn't nominated for Best Director.
He's your classic son of a divorced parent. Like it's not good unless you've pleased both houses, and I relate hardcore to that.
That's true.
I have to be potty mouth fucking hilariously disgusting at my dad's, and then I have to be Baptist as hell over here and like not sleeping with anyone. Like you got a very different. Can't be bad. Gotta be bad.
I think this is a good point. I think the author of this book would agree with you too.
Yeah.
Because Spielberg's also obsessed with divorce. His parents got divorced. It was the defining event of his life. Divorce is in all of these movies, even Jurassic Park.
Even Jurassic
Yep.
Park.
Yep.
His daughter's getting a divorce.
Yep.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah.
But even like you can
Well, and Ian Malcolm.
Malcolm Ian, yeah. And I feel like Ellie and Alan are kind of they're on the rocks. I say.
Shut up. They
I
just got
hated
their
that they
dig.
didn't like get together.
Oh, I see. I think they're destined not to be together.
What?
It sucks so bad.
We'll talk about that.
But it
later.
seems like they should have been. But yeah, we'll get into it. That's one of the reasons why she hates Jurassic Park 3 so much.
When he shows up at the house and she got a baby and all that stuff, I was like, really?
and it's a misdirect.
You gonna rub that baby in his face?
It is a misdirect because they make it seem at first like it's his kid and that he's married to Laura Dern.
Yep.
But then she's like, "Oh, my
I was
beloved
so
husband's
mad.
pulling up now.
Malcolm Ian.
Give me a kiss, hubby." Okay, Empire of the Sun is his next movie. Like The Color Purple, people are like, "You're chasing awards. You want to make a serious movie about World War II and Japanese prison camps and stuff." And he gets stung by the criticism of that. And then his next movie after that is Always, which is
Fuck is that?
it's one of his worst movies.
Never heard of it.
It is his first like out and out
I've never heard of it
commercial
either.
bomb. It's Richard Dreyfuss dies and he's the boyfriend
number
of
one.
he's the boyfriend of Holly Hunter, who's 40 years younger than him, and he's like comes back as a ghost but she can't see him, and he like has to learn to accept that she has a new boyfriend.
Okay.
That's what that movie's about.
So it's just
Okay.
sounds like it's just fucking
Ghost.
Castaway.
Okay, yeah. It's Castaway but with ghosts and
That
airplanes.
was so crazy.
And then
I didn't hear that.
I'm
Such a romantic.
You might like it. It's see, and he was trying. It's literally a remake of a movie from the 40s, and he's kind of trying to just play it with 40s straightforward romantic energy, but it being a movie from the 80s is just awkward.
Shoulder pads.
Like you calibrate your expectations if you're watching a movie from the 40s, and people are like calling each other "Hey, doll" and stuff like that. But here it's just weird. So he makes Hook,
Which is a fucking classic.
that we covered as our second episode of the show.
This is how load brain beams work. I go back to my default position, which is that this movie slaps. But in actuality, it's kind of fucking
When
boring.
we watched it for the episode, Lacey was miserable. On the episode, Lacey says this movie sucks. It's so boring.
I love it though.
What's the guy with the red hair?
Roofie. Oh,
Roofie. I used to love him.
Yeah.
I know.
I was like, ooh, he was fine.
They have moose on that island.
But this movie,
Right.
this movie goes super over budget. The production kind of spirals out of control. Spielberg cites it as one of the movies that got away from him. It makes money, but it's like not enough of a hit to justify the giant expectations. So basically, you have this stretch of his career where like, he's doing well, but like could be doing better. He's also producing movies like Back to the Future and Gremlins and Poltergeist. He's getting his animation wing off the ground. He's producing Tiny Toons. Like he's like giving script notes on Tiny Toons episodes. He's stretched very thin. And it seems like the boss at Universal had a heart-to-heart with him. Like, you need to like get your shit together. Stop saying yes to everything.
Right. God, I'm relating to him hard.
And
Ouch.
you need to bring your movies in on time and on budget. And I know that for years you've wanted to make your passion project Schindler's List. You can make Schindler's List. I will pay for Schindler's List. But first you got to make Jurassic Park. So that's why he makes Jurassic Park, because it will allow him to do Schindler's List. And he makes these movies literally back to back. He leaves Jurassic Park to make Schindler's List.
I mean, he was right to do it. You needed another upbeat, and like you needed another thing to make it feel like old time Spielberg.
Well, but he did Schindler's List after Jurassic.
I know, but you see that in a row and you're thinking, okay, Oscar bait again. Like he's just trying to,
I gotcha.
you needed to go with like blockbuster, and then now let's go Schindler's
But it
List.
was the movie that finally, like reading this book, I forgot that like for so long the criticism of Spielberg was he's for kids, he's not a serious filmmaker. But that's like all anybody said about serious. But that's what they said about Hitchcock and
Then when he tries
Howard
to get
Hawks.
serious, everybody's mean to him.
yeah.
Pick a lane.
Yep.
You can't make people happy.
This movie's too good.
Okay, so he's gonna make Jurassic Park, but how to make the dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs.
The dinosaurs.
He wants to use a mixture of animatronics and stop motion, and he will augment the stop motion with this newfangled technology known as CGI. So he hired Stan Winston, the best in the biz, to make the animatronics. He storyboarded the movie from the start. Every action scene was pre-visualized, and he hired Phil Tippett, the legendary stop motion animator, to do the dinosaurs when they're in motion. And
is that really stop motion? Excuse me.
You can see online, you can watch Phil Tippett's stop motion dinosaurs. They're really fascinating, but you can see that it just wouldn't play the same in the movie. And as they're working on it, Industrial Light and Magic says, we can fully animate these dinosaurs. And Spielberg says, let me take a look at it.
ILM.
He and Phil Tippett sit down and watch ILM's reel of their CGI dinosaurs. And Spielberg is like, this is amazing. I can't believe you can do this. And Phil Tippett reportedly said,
he was like the Jeep scene. They made it.
Well, no, what he said is, I'm extinct. Because what he did was make physical stop motion puppets.
You don't got to step on my fucking joke.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Jesus Christ.
But like now an entire old way of doing things in filmmaking is gone and replaced by a new thing. And that's why Ian Malcolm in the movie says that line, don't you mean extinct, to Alan Grant. Storyline is playing out in the movie.
Got it.
Yes. Okay, this movie was an all-time blockbuster. It surpassed E.T., Spielberg's own movie, to become the highest grossing movie of all time. It was also an international hit. It sort of paved the way for Hollywood to orient the business around global blockbusters. Spielberg apparently made $250 million off of this movie from his share of the profits. And it was a merchandising phenomenon. Kids love dinosaurs, but the problem with dinosaur toys is they're public domain. But slap a Jurassic Park sticker on a dinosaur, now we get a cut.
Changes the game.
Yeah. Yep. So that's the history of Jurassic Park. And we shall now move on to discuss.
If you had a count on these slides and I knew how close we're getting to the end, I'd be a little more patient.
You just got to trust me.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
I've gotten us this far.
Have you?
Okay, the movie opens with the gatekeeper. And shoot.
Yep.
I know, it's like, now the rounder, now the pushers, now the openers, now the closers. Where's the pusher? I'm sorry. There's just a lot of things that they're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a pusher.
And this is one of the movies that Christy and I like to point out that the black guy dies first.
He does indeed.
At least half of them.
Right off the gate.
I believe Spielberg had that in the contract.
Get that Negro out of here.
This is diverse as hell.
How are they going to know it's a horror movie?
Right.
Right, exactly. That's why it's a horror movie.
Yeah, the grisly death by the unhuman monster. But so I see.
Wait, but we also get to see his tortured face the whole fuck. You're right. Like, not only does he die, but they drag that shit out. I'm okay. I'm not okay. I'm okay. Oh, you got me. You got me. Oh, you don't got me. Okay.
I've seen Laci.
I knocked over important equipment. Sorry. Okay. Knocked over a whole camera.
Oh man, that's clip worthy right there.
Yes. Please make a clip of that.
Sorry. How do you? That's not the same.
It's about to.
Oh, y'all gotta clip that.
Yes.
Don't you get
Welcome back.
Well, you shouldn't put wheels on my chair if I'm not allowed to roll around. All right. Okay.
Oh man.
I got you. You look great.
And we're back.
I'm actually glad it happened. You look way better now.
So I've seen this movie a billion times. I still don't actually know what they're doing here and what happens.
They're just pushing a fucking dinosaur
Can
into a
somebody
hole.
explain it to me?
They're showing
Yeah, they're
you
trying to put that raptor into this
in his pen.
You know,
Where's
his,
he coming from?
Yeah, his pin.
An egg.
Oh
He came
yeah.
from
Now
an
where
egg.
it's coming from, I don't know.
Good
I don't
point.
know. But
I just know where they're putting him in.
they have to do this though, because otherwise it's not serious yet, and there's no danger.
Or-
we don't get the beautiful attorney.
Because remember, they had those babies. If you put the babies in there with all the big rappers, maybe they'll eat them or something. So they raise
they
them.
probably will.
They have
They
to grow
probably
up.
on their own.
AJ.
Yeah, they got to grow up, and then
The
they
big
like
brain
put them in there with
shit.
the other big boys.
I was just wondering, like, why
Yeah.
don't you just put a fucking egg? That's why. You take all
Maybe
the
so.
men out, there's no
They eat their own.
defenders. You see what I'm saying?
Spielberg said like he was honest about this was his version of a sequel to Jaws. This is him doing Jaws again. And I realized that the raptors are the shark from Jaws. They're teased throughout the movie, and they're teased right here. You see one of their eyes.
There's a cage,
Yep.
just like a shark cage.
But because I get this mixed up with the other movies in my head, which have raptors throughout, I forget that the raptors
Yeah.
don't show up in this thing till there's 15 minutes left of the movie.
And it's the
Yep.
most and it's the most complex like sequence and like choreography, just like the boat. They're stuck in one small specific place and so you get the most out of like I don't know. It seems like the most dramatic part.
Yeah.
You say it's the Jeep scene with the T-Rex. I say it's the kitchen scene.
Is what?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just the most like the one that stays with me. Yeah, maybe because it's at both times it's damn kids.
Yeah.
Leave the kids alone. It's Spielberg's tortured kid ass. Just
I was gonna say because one thing we talk about with horror movies is like the quality of the opening scene. I actually really do like this opening scene. Like I feel like it's super like like horror, like it's ominous. Like what the fuck? Like what is this? Like what I'm saying? It sets the tone for like damn, like this shit might be kind of crazy.
Yeah.
and it's so perfect that these are mostly non-English speaking people being put in danger.
Yep.
This is on some fucking island. Like it's just some rich guy trying to evade taxes and regulations. And I never noticed what a villain Hammond was till this watch. And I'm like, we need him to be safe. Why does he not want people looking around? It's just, you got too much money with your white linen outfit.
Hey, he was clean.
He was.
I love it. You can see right away. It's a job for these people. They're wearing their job, their helmets and stuff.
Right. They're just trying to get paid. They live
Yeah.
on the other side of the fucking island that now has dinosaurs on it. Thank you.
But just
Fucking white people.
But just imagine going into a theater in '93. Like you don't know this is a dinosaur movie, but you don't know what's going to happen in it, and then
Right. They're not nice for even a little bit.
this happens. Yeah,
Right.
and velociraptors were not.
Right.
Velociraptors were not like well-known dinosaurs, so like this movie's doing a lot of work to build them up in your mind.
And the spitting
Yeah,
dinosaur
they do.
is a different one, right? The spitting one is the
Dilophosaurus.
right. That one fucking freaked me out as a kid too.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's
That's a
so
good scene.
it's an unfortunate side effect of the merchandising, but as soon as you see the men in their little hard hats with the Jurassic Park thing, I'm like, oh, look at those little babies who play in a little hard hat game. It looks like kid toys because, and then as soon as
Yeah.
you see the Jeep, it's like, oh, little kid's Jeep, and I'm going to do this with it. Anyway, it takes out some of the seriousness.
That's
Yeah,
that's not
we
the
know.
movie's fault.
I'm not blaming the movie.
Sounds like you are.
Okay. I don't know why this never occurred to me before, but when this asshole is being pulled on this fucking little thing, it's like, sit down. Just sit down. What?
Well,
What are you trying
one thing that we always say is like, where the fuck did he get on that at? Like,
Other side of the river.
Did you spawn? Is this your spawn
there's-
point?
He's a clone. He's a clone. He comes
There's
into
Other
existence in
people
this.
on the other side of the river.
What an amazing point. I've never. Yes,
sit
he doesn't
down.
appear to have been coming from
so
anywhere,
random.
and they're just
Yeah.
pulling him the whole way. But to be clear,
It's a
too,
really long rope. It's as
To the-
long as AJ's fucking extension cord. It is. That came from downstairs.
but we are talking to those listening. We're talking about the Amber Mine sequence in the Dominican Republic,
Sorry.
where the attorney Donald Gennaro is standing
like-
rudely
Yes.
on a raft, and he's getting pulled into the Amber Mine where he expected to meet John Hammond, I guess. But then Miguel
Yeah.
Sandoval, who's playing a digger, says John Hammond's not here. Why were they going to meet there? I don't know. But
They need to show you
No
the fucking
clue.
amber.
no, I know what the point of it is in
It
terms
is
of
weird.
explaining things. But it just
Maybe
again,
he owed that man a role. They didn't need him at all. Because they set him up to be like a character in the movie, and it's just like, I found an egg.
and Miguel Sandoval is like a well-known character actor, so you're like, oh,
Yeah,
he
ooh,
is.
I'm paying attention to this guy.
Right. And it's like, bye.
But
Yeah.
I think it is teasing the mystery. I mean, we've seen this movie a billion times, but imagine not knowing what happens and how the dinosaurs come back. You're like, what's up with these bugs in the gold thing? What is this?
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
It is set up so well and paced so well from that standpoint.
Well, but also you need some time for some natural exposition explaining what's going on, the stakes, like this thing just happened, and now he needs someone to talk it out with who isn't John Hammond, who would already know what the fuck's going on. So that you also learn what's happening, and then you smash cut to the experts.
They're talking about the.
Yep.
I have a hard time getting him out of Montana.
Like, Montana's sexy as hell.
I love these. I love the world. I love this world where they
Why
all
do
know
they
each
know-
other
right?
and they all know each other's reputations.
I too dig in
Yeah.
mountains.
Yeah.
Right. It is a small.
That's
It's
a
just
good
you can
point.
imagine them at a conference. It's like it is a small
Yeah,
world.
the
I bet they do
paleontologist
know everybody.
conference.
Just like in Lake Placid. Like fuck, I broke the thingy again. I broke the thing.
Because Grant's like me.
Wait, well, like in
He's a
Lake
digger.
Placid. Do you guys know Lake Placid? The movie.
No.
Okay. Well.
Oh, with the
old
alligator?
alligator
Yeah.
joint. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's a crocodile.
Well, there's a crocodile, and all of a sudden,
crocodile, yeah.
and all of a sudden, this man comes down on a helicopter because he loves crocodiles, and me and Matt are both like, "How the fuck does he? This just happened. How does he know?" And I'm like, they all go to the same expos and shit.
Yeah.
And like,
Yep.
he's
That's
like, where? So that's all. Every community is small when you get down to
yeah,
it.
they hear there's a croc somewhere. Everyone's
Yeah.
gonna come.
You put crocodile. I got beep. I got CROC on my beeper.
So yeah, the plot is underway. Person died in the first scene. They're suing this company. The investors, they're getting scared. We need experts to sign off on
All
this.
very relatable material for a child. Keep going.
Of course.
I know. When I was a kid, I
Yes.
fast forwarded through all of this.
Yes, this is like the beginning. This is like the beginning of The Exorcist, where I don't need the part where they dig up something and just get to the fucking kid. Yeah.
It is like The Exorcist.
It
where you're like,
is.
this movie starts in Iraq,
Right? What the fuck? Okay. Right.
but like the
We have to blame people. I'm sorry. It's just like, of course, it
Yeah.
starts from an exotic place, and then we bring it.
Exactly.
And now it's
Good
our
point.
burden.
yeah. Can you even imagine?
It's all got to be so exotic.
But like the critique of sort of just corporations and the invasion of, or the way science is
Yeah.
now just been subsumed into corporate America. It's like it's right
Yep.
there because they're like, the investors are getting worried. They want 2 experts to sign off on the island, and it's like experts? Who's going to be an expert on a dinosaur island? But to them, it's just we need a box.
Montana.
We need to check off a box,
Right. It's just he's got to have enough credentials that I can sell this as being an expert.
And so
Yep.
that's why the
That's
movie
it.
happens. Just because some board members we never see were like, we need to sign off on this.
I always found this scene
He said,
excessive.
"See,
The
he's
one
a digger."
now they're in Montana and this is Dr. Grant and he's fucking bullying a child for some reason. I always found that scene so excessive. Like
Oh, it's the
you are
best.
getting your dick hard to.
Is that in the book? Matt?
No.
I mean, is he on a field trip?
Okay, because in the script, it's completely different as well.
Oh, was this improvised? This man is sick.
This is just Sam Neill talking, and they just kept rolling.
He keeps that thing in
you know,
his
in the
pocket all
movie,
the
it's
time.
like, why is he talking to this random kid like this? You know, because I always get bothered by that. Because like I'm thinking, if I'm at this dig with my kid and
yes,
I'm
I
not
was-
there, I don't want him talking to my kid like that. But I think in the script, his parents were actually, they were around him or something like that. But they cut all that out.
assume- and it made me think of the first scene of Despicable Me, where it's is that the first one or the second? Where is that shit kid? He discovers the pyramid's not real. It doesn't
That's
matter.
the first one.
Okay, all right, continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this has got to be a tourist group or something. But this kid's parents, like, they have some strong words for Alan Grant later.
Yeah.
They're going to pull their funding.
Better.
It's great foreshadowing though.
But yeah, but
Right.
we also see
now
right
I know
away.
everything about a raptor.
You know everything about the raptor, which again, going to the movies, not a famous dinosaur.
True.
We get to know about Alan Grant. Doesn't like kids. Takes a
Hates
lot of
them.
glee in showing this kid, this is how a velociraptor would murder you.
Right.
But of course,
Yep.
later in the movie, he's going to stop velociraptors from murdering children.
Is he or is T-Rex gonna stop?
Well, that is the question. And
That's the question.
we see he doesn't like computers. He's a rugged outdoorsman.
I wonder if this will come back.
He likes to work
Yep.
with his hands, but science is moving into the computer
Oh,
cafe.
Matt, he's you. Scared of AI. Poor
He is,
baby.
yes. He is like me. And then John Hammond shows up and he's like, oh, you have champagne, my wee way around the kitchen. And
I'm gonna sit on this countertop that doesn't look
Hey,
stable
we
at
were
all.
saving that.
Right.
for today, I'm sure.
You rolled your R's. That was
Well, he
so
does.
uncomfortable. Okay.
The biggest, I mean, there's so many differences from the book. The most major one, the one that people at the time had was John Hammond, who in the book is a pretty straightforward villain. With no redeeming qualities. He's barely even in it for the dinosaurs. He just wants to make money. and he doesn't
Gotcha.
care about his grandkids. And in the end, some little compy dinosaurs eat him. But Spielberg,
I love these changes then.
Spielberg very clearly identifies with John Hammond. He's like, he sees like you're a creator. You want to do something
He's
extraordinary.
Richard Dreyfuss with mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
he's
you're
just
sculpting
getting
dinosaurs into your mashed potatoes. And
Shut up.
what's wrong with that?
Just keep going.
You interrupted
You're
me.
drunk.
He and then of course, who does he cast to play John Hammond? A director, the director of Gandhi. He's not an actor first and foremost. So he's like, John Hammond here is a movie director. He wants to do big, extraordinary things. And just the way he's played, like he has to be like a cuddly old grandpa.
He's so sweet. I bet he
Yeah.
smells
Yep.
nice.
I would say that is the one thing I prefer about the book. I think that, and I think you can certainly still see Hammond as a villain in this movie who is
Yeah.
nice to people on a personal level. Like he's nice to his grandkids
Yeah.
and he'd be polite to you at dinner. But like,
He wraps it up. It doesn't take a ton of. He's not trying to like scheme on the back end. As soon as he sees like, okay, my fucking kids are missing. Like, I mean, I remember him being a little more resistant for a little bit longer.
Now,
I think
even
he falls in line.
his grandkids are missing, and he's still like, but next time we're going to do it right. We're not going to
Right.
have automation.
Yeah.
yeah.
And in the book, like right before he dies, he's thinking like, I hired the wrong people. Henry Wu was a bad hire. Mr. Arnold was a bad hire. I'll get
Right.
the right people next time. Shouldn't have been Costa Rica. And it's like all these business psychos are like that. So, but yeah, he's like, come
Firefest.
come to my, he's Billy McFarlane of Firefest.
Yeah.
Come to my dinosaur island. I'll pay you real good. Okay.
Pay you real good.
They're going to go. What happens next?
Yep.
The most delightful.
That's your favorite
fucking-
scene, right
Oh
there.
yeah,
babe.
that scene is hilarious.
Yeah, what's his name? Wayne Knight.
Uh-huh.
I just love the way he talks. He's just so tickled by this fucking contraption.
I know it's so good.
Anyway, this is where you see the scheme where also what timing is this when you needed to do it, sir? When the inspections were happening, when like the livelihood of this park's success, you needed to do the scheme now? I don't understand.
That's their window of opportunity.
I guess.
I know.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, this is him. Yes, clandestine meeting with Dodgson or whatever the fuck his name is to get some samples. We don't exactly know why. It's just a competitor, and he's giving him a ton of money, and he gets $50,000 more for each type of dino sample he can get. And so now we just know that this guy's not a nice, good guy.
Had y'all ever noticed that that Dodgson doesn't close the cab door and the cab driver in the background
Oh my
gives him a little
God.
gesture?
You made a gif
Yes,
out of it.
he was
You
mad.
fucking
He
weirdo.
was like-
Oh,
He was like,
holy shit! I never noticed that. Look at that.
oh,
know,
I've
it's
watched it
so
a
great
1,000
to see
times.
these-
So
Oh, you know.
I have too, but I only noticed it recently.
Well, who leaves the door open?
I shouted, Laci, come in here. Come see this.
Yes, that's what I'm doing when I'm watching football. I'm all about the sidelines.
But Wayne Knight, Nedry, Dennis Nedry says to Dodgson, don't get cheap on me. That was Hammond's mistake. And Hammond's always saying he spares no expense, but we see right here, he's a cheap
Right.
motherfucker. When the ice cream starts going bad, he wants to eat it all. He is sparing tons of expenses.
Okay, but they do have a big laborious argument about like, don't come to me because you're bad with your I mean, clearly this guy is continues to try to get more and more money out of.
But
out
he's
of Hammond.
Laci. He is a contractor like you and I. And now it's his fault for not setting up his contracts right. But before we learned that when you get a website job, you have to tell the client you only get so many revisions with me before I
Oh.
start charging you more. And Wayne Knight's character is like, I did all this, and you kept saying no, do it again, do it again, do it again, without paying him any more for it.
You're
Oh,
reading a lot into
It's
something I
there.
didn't say.
It's
Fine,
there, man.
he's an angel. Hammond.
They get into the helicopter, and we meet Ian Malcolm, and there's a lot of fun on the helicopter. Tell us about it.
God damn it, I'm tired. Okay. I don't know. This is just setting up a lot of like personality stuff with some dynamics. We see that Ian Malcolm sure is a rad, cool dude that likes to fuck.
he's a rock
and
star.
yes, but he's also very smart. And they need two experts, so these are the two guys. You know, it's a very small community. Hammond seems like amused by him, but also like doesn't totally trust him alone in his opinions.
Their rapport though makes it seem like they've known each other
Yeah.
forever and like they're friends or at
They
least
might be small
frenemies.
You need math for
But this
dinosaurs.
is Malcolm, the lawyer, the blood-sucking lawyer Gennaro hired Malcolm.
again,
I'm just
small
wondering. Yeah.
field. You need math to make a dinosaur. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. What is this mathematician? What was he supposed to do here?
Well, he's there to figure out probability of things, right? So you need that in any kind of experimental. I don't know what the fuck you. I'm making up stuff. You know.
Chrissy and AJ, what say you?
No, I think
You're on the
I
right
think
track.
you're right.
Yeah, you're on
Yeah.
the right track.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm on the
He's
dino tour.
looking at the
track.
code and algorithms and shit, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because he knows about like missing chunks of code. He seems to be on the math side of genetics. Like he's not just a mathematician.
Yeah.
And he also buys leather. Look at him. He's gorgeous.
a chaos system.
Okay, yes. So the most
What did
unbelievable
he
part
say?
of
He's like Dr. Sattler. What did he say? I know you know chaos theory, Dr. Sattler, and she was like, no.
like,
Obviously, that was him
possibly
flirting with her.
Right. Yep.
right. I don't want to choose.
No,
but
he's
I would have
negging her.
lied.
He's doing some pickup artist stuff to her.
He's got to pull out
Yeah.
runes later and like do some sort of magic trick, bust out a black light, see how much dirt is on her. All right. So the most unbelievable part of this movie is that they wait until this moment to like say I have dinosaurs. Cause like, come on.
Yeah.
What are you in this helicopter for? I mean, I know he's gonna fund your dig. All right. So now they're landing on the island, and this is when it is revealed that dinosaurs are here. I don't know what you want from me.
I want you to do our podcast.
Shit. Okay. You know what I like right away that. Okay, so they're in the helicopter, they're contained. They're traveling there, they're contained. This whole thing of like things aren't going to do what you plan for them to do, including these experts, including this attorney. You think these roles make sense in your head until you let them out of that helicopter. And now they have free range of this island. They get out of your Jeep, they get out of your tour, they get off of your ride. You can't predict it and you can't contain it. And
That's seeded throughout the movie.
and these are people of the utmost respect. These are adults. These are professionals. They're here. You've hired them. They owe you a lot of money actually, and you can't even make them do what you want. The super wealthy to come to this fucking island. They're gonna butt fuck these dinosaurs. They're gonna do whatever they want.
Yeah, they're not staying in the car.
They're not staying in the car.
Okay, but we see the CGI Brachiosauruses, and it's iconic, and
Yes.
it's the most Spielberg face of all Spielberg face shots.
Wait, let me do it.
And you gotta forcibly turn someone's head, which would just cripple
Yeah.
my neck.
The actors played it so good. Like it
They
felt
did.
so believable. Like they really fucking saw.
Yeah.
Like
'Cause
some
they're-
dinosaurs.
Yes.
And these actors are looking at nothing. They're looking at grass.
Yeah.
Nada.
Yep.
What about the CGI? Do you think the CGI holds up on a 4K screen?
Not right there. Like
Not right-
so, y'all have a picture up where they're standing next to
closer.
The real
close to the
one. yeah.
was it Bronchiosaurus?
The
or whatever?
close-ups aren't that great.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Especially when it's daylight. We'll get to it later when it's like nightfall. You can kind of disguise the CGI
Yes.
better. But here, since it's like nice and bright, no, it's
Yeah.
dated.
So this is the first time, I guess this is one of the places where they're in Hawaii filming, and the rest of the time they're on like a soundstage. But like this is clearly like a golf course or something. It's just regular grass mowed very cropply as far as the eye could see. And I'm thinking, who is volunteering to do the yard work with these motherfuckers stomping around? I'm just saying, plot hole.
IMDb goose. Grass
Okay.
is too well manicured. Lacey, we are not the plot hole show.
You keep saying that, but I keep.
I
finding
do
them.
not want to be the plot hole show. There's a billion YouTube channels that do that.
Oh, hey, we also got to mention, of course, with this iconic scene, the John Williams theme, like
Yeah.
Oh God, John
that
Williams.
just elevated the scene to the next level.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, like it's this theme is so dope that we'll even play it in the car sometimes, like with the kids in the
Just to
car.
pump you
All
up.
the kids love it. Like,
Aw.
They do.
yeah, like this theme is fire.
Are you doing the somber doo 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 doo, or are you doing the rousing dun 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 dun? Which one are you playing in the car?
We're
we
playing
play the entire album.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
okay.
yeah, we
whole
start with we
soundtrack.
start with the slow build one though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I need to ride in your car with you because that
It's-
sounds like a
sounds
good
good.
time.
Yeah.
We listen to
but
all
it's
kinds
like-
of soundtracks.
Yeah.
That's Matt's jam.
I listen to soundtracks when I'm writing, especially or just reading. It's just good, good non-distracting music.
Yeah.
But it's so good that the first thing he says is just it's a dinosaur.
Right. He's an expert and doesn't even care about the actual name. This is
Dinosaur.
It's not human, right?
The thing I've been studying just in the dirt. There it is. Living and breathing. That's got to be a crazy, experience.
The movie, Not Holding Your Hand, he says they move in herds. They do move in herds. I think a shittier screenplay would have an earlier scene where he's like, people are always saying dinosaurs don't move in herds.
Right.
But no, you can just read it in the line reading.
Right.
He's like, this is a thing people talk about.
Experts are guessing all the time. These are just theories. Even the most trained people are just guessing, and they're still astonished when they're fucking right.
Yeah.
I did it. Right. Especially when you're in this field, and you're like, no one's ever going to prove me wrong. And like, shit.
I know.
Everyone's going to know.
How does he know that the T-Rex can't see movement? How does he know all this stuff just from looking at some bones?
Right.
But I don't know. They know stuff that I don't know.
Great.
So can you tell us, Laci, about the...
All right. Well, now the brilliant choice of turning this into a ride, because they need to tell you a bunch of shit that you don't know or
like
understand. Right. And so this is the iconic John Hammond talking to himself, and I learned a lot about DNA as a child this way, and they move through a lab. You get to actually see it happening. The scientists are acting like children. They get off the ride, and then push. I think I'm explaining this perfectly. I mean, beat for beat, I think I'm nailing it.
In the book, there's like 100 pages of exposition explaining all of this, how they made the dinosaurs.
Damn.
And like, for them, it's like, how are we going to do that? This is a nightmare. People are going to lose. They're going to disengage from this movie so fast. And this is just so brilliant. We'll have a cartoon take 2 minutes. And Spielberg, Universal Studios Florida had just started up, and Spielberg was very involved with that. And I believe he still makes $20 million a year every year that Universal Studios operates, because he has so many rides in the park.
That's wild.
So have a cartoon explain everything, and it's like I'm just in awe of how well they're able to do all this exposition so quickly, so effectively. And then, of course, we already mentioned.
I agree. It's very clever.
The autoerotica joke, maybe the best joke in cinema history. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I've seen this movie a billion times. I've always been obsessed with it. I knew about the history of the making of the movie, but I found something that I had never seen before that shook me to my core. Instead of the Mr. DNA sequence, John Hammond was going to do a song and dance number. He was going to sing a song on stage explaining how they did all of this. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
Nah, never heard of it.
Glad they didn't go with that.
That would have been terrible.
I'd like to see it though. Okay. I'm doing a lot of internet digging, and I found the song. So if you will indulge me, I want to perform this song for you, okay?
Fucking get it over with. Jesus Christ.
Look at this dino lab. I have the very best Jurassic scab. The system runs on Unix OS, but Dennis Nedry's desk is a mess. And this is Dr. Henry Wu. I ought to clone him, and I will have to. He helped me come up with this raptor batch. I like to be there for when they first hatch. Remember our electric fence? To build it, we spent no expense. We caught the T-Rex and she runs fast. When she gets close, she'll shake your water glass. These are my grandchildren. They like to play in the kitchen. Raptors got loose and attacks unfurl. We'll all get hunted by a clever girl. Oh, life finds a way. Every time we take the gas out on the park tour, every time that we can't find the damn Dilophosaur, I start to say that chaos theory is right. Every hurricane that hits and turns the power off, every DNA sequence we completed with the frogs, goddamn Ian Malcolm's chaos theory is right. Look at this dino lab. I have the very best Jurassic staff. I have the very best T-Rex.
Okay.
So I don't think that song would have fit in the movie.
Shut up. You're such a dirty liar.
And it's weird that he's like mentioning stuff that happens later in the movie that he shouldn't
Matt.
know about.
Enough with it.
That was awesome.
He put so
That
much
was awesome.
fucking
You were
work
hitting
into
those
that.
notes, Matt.
Right? Not well, but
Yes.
it's up there.
I got up there, yes. Do I have way more lyrics to a complete song? Yes, I do. So
I believe it.
And Christy,
That
now
was
you know
awesome.
why I asked you that random question earlier today?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. It's like, this is not going to land if they don't know the fucking song, Matt. Okay, anyway.
everyone knows Nickelback, man. You got to know
Everybody know
Nickelback.
Nickelback.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So they go into the Dino Lab. They look at the Dino Lab. We meet Dr. Henry Wu, and they explain how they make all the dinosaurs and the eggs. And John Hammond insists he's there for the birth of all of these
I claim
dinosaurs. And I too. I'm
Call
like, no,
bullshit,
you're not.
bitch. No, you're not.
No.
All right. You almost missed this
like,
one.
really?
No, I think what he
Yeah.
does is he told an assistant, he's like, whenever there's a dinosaur being born, come get me. And then they come get him, but he's like, no, I'm in
I'm
a
on the
meeting. I'm at
shitter.
Starbucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to be there. He would like to be there, but he's got other stuff going on.
Also,
And then-
the scientists don't want him in the lab all the fucking time. Like, they're hatching around the clock. Get out of here with your. He's got ideas every time he comes in the lab. Oh, you know what?
Can you imagine
away.
what
Go
a
away.
nightmare he is as a boss?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
And
no,
later
yeah.
he
Yeah.
commandeers the computer consoles. Like, you're an old fucking man. What do you know?
He has no idea about
Right,
the actual
exactly.
Micromanaging
inventory.
like crazy.
Exactly. Okay, Gunnar, you're becoming a lot. You are being a lot.
You should be destroyed.
Jesus.
But like, there's a machine that just takes the egg from Dr. Grant. Like, he's like, you can already see the automation creeping in everywhere. We don't want humans working
Yep.
on these
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah,
You can
Grant had been sitting on them before, just hatching them all with his asshole.
and I might be seeing this everywhere, but you could see this as like a metaphor for the movie industry and how we're outsourcing everything and we're replacing the people who do the things. Even in this movie, we're replacing the craft of stop motion and practical effects with CGI.
Okay, but a computer would have kept the fucking
Yeah.
electric fences on. It's the people who screwed everything up.
Christy, sorry, earlier you said that the scene, I think you said the scene with Dodgson and Wayne Knight was your favorite scene.
That's so interesting.
Oh, that's AJ's favorite
Yeah, it's
scene.
one of my
okay.
favorite scenes. Yeah. But
Oh,
it's like
okay.
we got dots in here. See, nobody cares. I don't know why it's like that shit.
Did you guys notice when he put the whipped cream on that guy's pie? I got so upset.
Yeah,
It's not
the
whipped cream,
shaving
it's shaving
Oh,
cream.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
The
Shaving
shaving
cream.
cream.
He
Yeah.
ruined that guy's pie.
Yeah.
Ruined
That's
that
not
shit.
nice.
Yep.
No,
He's
we're
not
just,
a nice guy.
it's chaos. We're just messing with the world. And has all these ramifications. Now that guy's in a worse mood. Now he's going to go commit a crime or something because he didn't have his pie.
Exactly. Spent his last quarter on that pie.
Well, the scene where they eat Chilean sea bass, I think, is my favorite scene. I can barely even tell you why. I mean, obviously, what they're saying is very interesting. This is where Malcolm has his speech about
Yeah.
the lack of humility and you patent it and you sell it and you sell it. But I think I just love the projections on the screens behind them saying,
You just like the ambiance.
like, I believe I caught Jurassic Tennis this time. And
Yeah.
Hammond is talking about all these attractions that they're going to have one day that they're not going to have.
Tennis. you gotta hit the ball to each other before the dino snaps it out.
And then his grandkids show up. And like, you can see this is a cynical move of him. Like, he wants these kids here to soften up the experts. See these kids
Right.
love this park. You're going to love it too. You don't have to worry.
And you wouldn't want to disappoint me in front
Yeah.
of my grandchildren, would
Exactly.
ya?
Yes.
I love the tour.
The tour is great.
That sells it. A worse movie would have like them being kind of indifferent to their granddad, but they fucking love him. They love him so much that they knock him over. So he actually is a good grandpa. That just adds to the column of this is actually a good guy. He's not perfect. He's
Well,
not
I mean, you can be a good
Right.
grandfather and love your grandkids and still be a bad guy.
fine.
That's true because
That's
you see
true.
plenty of serial killers who have families.
Yes. or like, the worst.
Shut up, AJ.
The most destructive, corporate tycoons, like I'm sure are like nice when you meet them in person. They're just doing destructive
Yeah.
stuff on a spreadsheet.
Whatever.
Okay. Oh, and we get hold on to your butts. Maybe the most iconic line from the movie. Now, David Koepp, who seems like he had the most influence on the screenplay, said he was working on Robert Zemeckis' movie Death Becomes Her as he was working on the script for Jurassic Park. And they were doing reshoots. They were running out of money and they filmed this big finale to that movie. And he and Zemeckis were going into the screening room to watch the dailies. And they were really worried because if they didn't because they're going to see what they shot, and if they didn't get it right, they were fucked.
over.
And so Robert Zemeckis apparently said, "Hold on to your butts," before they started playing it. And Kep was like, "Oh, I like that," and he wrote it down.
Oh wow.
And then he
wow.
had Samuel
That's
L.
crazy.
Jackson, the coolest person who ever lived, say it, and suddenly
He says
way
it
more,
twice. He says it twice.
way cooler than Robert.
Okay,
Yep.
but anything with your cigarette
Hold on to
hanging
your
out of your
butts.
mouth, you're gonna sound like a badass.
Man, I wanted to
Yep.
snatch that cigarette out of his
I
mouth.
know.
It was
You know it
barely
smells-
hanging.
you know it
It was
smells
like
in that room.
attached to his lip.
I know. That just reminded me of my
Skill.
dad.
That thing was
reminded me of
holding
my
on,
dad. Like, Dad, you're gonna burn the sofa again. You're gonna burn the sofa
Yeah.
again, Dad. Shut up.
Well, who can tell me what is Samuel L. Jackson's character's name?
Oh fuck.
Mr. Arnold, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they all
What
go
is
by
his first
Mr. Whatever.
Oh, what's his first name? Is it Ray? No.
Homer.
What is his name?
So
I'm not
according
sure.
to the script, it's Ray. The word Ray never gets said.
Oh, it is Ray.
That actually sounds right.
Oh, okay.
In the novel, this is how uninterested Michael Crichton is in characters. His first name is John. Yeah, there's two Johns, whatever. That's the kind of writer
John.
he is.
John and John.
But like,
Wow.
and Samuel L. Jackson, like he'd been around, he'd been a successful character actor, but he's 1 year away from Pulp Fiction
Yeah.
and becoming a super movie star. And like, to me, there's nothing
Yep.
like seeing somebody like right before they're
yeah.
about to pop. And you're like, this is a nothing character. He has
But
so
he
little there.
brings
All he
it.
can do is put a cigarette in his mouth. And you're like, this is the most compelling
Yep.
person in the movie.
I can't
Yep.
stand this hacker shit. I love when he says that.
So much swag.
I love
man.
that. I love when he
So
says,
Swag to him.
yeah, I've always been obsessed with the way he says about 2 million. Like, how many lines of codes are there? About 2 million.
About 2 million. About.
Okay, so yeah, they're out on the tour, and it's not going well. It's like going to the zoo, and the animals aren't coming.
Tour, right. And tour number 1. Headlights.
And
don't
you
work.
realize
yeah.
this.
What
Well, I was gonna say. Honestly, before we get to the tour part, I just gotta mention it because it's like some nostalgia about like old tech, like when they get in the car. Whoa, an interactive
yes.
CD-ROM. Like,
And they're like, you can touch.
there's something special about that.
It really is. 90s computer graphics will never not thrill us.
No, I know. I want some ASMR
Yeah.
YouTube loops of just the CD-ROM of the touch screen.
But you can add this to the list of what people did not understand about where computing was going is the that's not the magic word is another example of an overly complicated thing that just wasn't a thing, didn't become
Yeah.
a thing.
Well, and later the file system that Lex operates is like, you have to navigate a city to go find your...
You have to become a Sims character to find the
Yeah.
file.
But like how everything old is new again, this is what Meta was trying to do. The metaverse. You'll go be inside of a file system.
Yeah.
Yep.
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 The grandpa file.
Yeah. There. Oh, and Lacey says that Lex looks like Jesse Plemons.
He
Do you guys see
does.
it?
She does. She looks just
Oh,
like
wow. She
She
does.
does.
photo. I wouldn't have picked that photo. He's squinting too much. But when he's like bright-eyed
He's
and
always
nice,
squinting.
bitch, you don't know.
When does he open his
I
eyes?
was just about to say that, Matt. Like, that's his face. That's
does
his
that.
resting
Yeah.
face.
Thank you.
There are times when he's in his apartment at fucking
At Kirsten Dunst's apartment.
no in Breaking Bad that he the sun's not in his tiny little eyes and he opens them wide. That's
Oh,
what
I
you-
remember the episode where he opens his eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
called,
remember
it's
that.
called Jesse Plemons.
The episode where he opens his eyes.
Push, come on, Jesse, open. All right, I'm sorry.
But they are your problems. Thanks,
I know you
Dad.
can't open your eyes, but they are your problems.
Thanks, Dad.
Even before all the dino stuff starts going wrong, I get so stressed out for these people just trying to run their shitty little park.
Yes.
And they can't do it.
Yep.
And they're trying to save money, right? They're trying to do all automation, trying not to. He spared no expense, but for some reason, he's put a high value on this guy who can make a very skeleton crew work. Like, which is it? Why does it look like fucking NASA where you are, but there's just 2 people there?
Yeah. No,
Yep,
that's
exactly.
that
That's a good point.
again, that is power devaluing labor. Labor is important. You need people who know what they're doing, who have skills and can do the job, and you need to hire them and pay them well so that they don't shut down your park and steal your dinosaur embryos. You don't want that to happen to you.
In fact, where you are putting the money is in the science lab, and they're on fucking display. You care so little about their actual work that they're in a fishbowl.
Oh, I wanted to point this out. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
Watching the Mr. DNA sequence, and I don't even know what I said earlier because I was building up to me singing Nickelback.
I'm so nervous. Like, get to it. Get to it, Matt.
Watching the presentation of like the lab, like Jurassic Park scientists hard at work, you can tell that these are, if they're not actors,
right.
they're the scientists. They're like, okay, you're on camera, pretend you're doing some science stuff, and they're like,
Oh.
Yeah.
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 like it's very subtle and they don't call attention to it, but it's like this is not what they actually do for their jobs.
Exactly.
Right.
Just-
There's a lot of data entry
Just
and like
love that.
checking on eggs.
Or like, yeah, I'm sure at one point you do stick a needle in some amber, but you don't do it that dramatically.
Right. All right. Exactly.
Like Pulp Fiction, just
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Now,
yeah,
this after this, is this where things slow down for you, Matt?
it's basically after the T-Rex attack.
Gotcha.
And see, to me,
Okay.
that's when we get to take a breather. Like, they don't do enough awe and wonder of the park, and like this is their second chance to do that, to show you the dinosaurs. And I guess to me, I like these slow parts because there's so much that happens. Then in the beginning and then at the end. So like that breather is good to me.
Yeah.
I feel like good movies do that. Twister does
No,
that.
it does that. I'm just saying it's not.
I love Twister.
I'm just saying it's like not as inspired. Like there's better ways. Like Jaws is the
gotcha.
comparison. Like the
right.
the
The dinner
downtime
scene, or
in
the
Jaws is
drinking.
my favorite stuff in Jaws.
Yeah.
But we're still in the stretch where this is my favorite movie of all time. When they're
Good.
seeing the
Okay.
Triceratops on the ground.
I want to hug him.
Such a cool scene.
It was
going
so
up
good.
and
I just
down
love their
with-
faces.
Yep.
Yeah. You
She's
you
like,
can
Hi, baby. You're right.
It's like her greatest thing ever.
you can see Laura Dern talking about this animatronic 30 years later, and she gets teary-eyed talking about it. Like when they, because this is like a full dinosaur-sized animatronic, and they're all like, "Oh my god, it's a real dinosaur," and they're all just like in awe and getting teary-eyed about it. And that's why animatronics are great, because you can see them and touch them. And
It gave me goosebumps, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interact.
did you guys, you know how Nedry is back in the starts to do his little espionage, and he hits the execute button, and then we cut over, and there's a thunder. When you were a kid, did you think that he made the thunder happen?
I did not think that.
Oh, okay.
I can't.
Oh,
remember
at least I
if
don't
did.
remember. I don't
I don't remember. Yeah.
I can't even remember.
Like the Truman Show.
The computer can do anything.
Right.
So where are we? Oh yeah, Triceratops. Laura Dern looking through dinosaur poop. She says still wherever she goes throughout the world, kids will ask her, "Did you really stick your hands in that dinosaur poop?"
Like I did, but it wasn't poop. You fucking idiot.
Like, make sure
She
you
says
wash
that.
your hands before you eat.
Right. Oh yeah.
Like, what about your shoulder, Laura Dern? You're gonna wash off your shoulder? The glove stops.
I love Malcolm, man. He's
know.
the best.
I love this scene with him and Grant, because like you can see it on Jeff Goldblum's face, like he's playing Malcolm like hey, my normal charm isn't working on this guy.
Right, I'm
he
just-
doesn't like me. and that makes me sad because I like him. I'd like him to like me.
Like
But he's like he says like, "Oh, I'm always looking for a future ex Mrs. Malcolm." Pause.
right, like he's trying to find the kind of guy this is. Let me push this guy button. No, that was wrong.
Yeah.
It's like with Matt. People always push the wrong guy. Matt drove Lyft for a little while, and like just the things men would try to talk about with Matt, and Matt's just like, shut up. Like, you got any good boobies down here in New Orleans? Like, fucking Jesus.
Well,
Out
it was
Can't imagine driving Lyft in New Orleans.
it's
that's
wild.
what it would be. You'd be like, "What's the best strip club, man?" And I'd be like, I've never been to a strip club, sir.
I could take you to a J.C. Penney's and a good buffet.
Yeah. And then they'd always respond like, "Oh, I bet you haven't, you dog."
Like,
They thought I was like growing out with them.
everything's just
I'm about to say how many people threw up in your car?
Never happened to
Never.
me. Never happened
Never.
to me.
Really?
Yes, I was always
Lucky.
terrified of that happening
Yeah.
because that's
That's what people do here. They throw up and they go home.
night over, week ruined. Yeah. Okay. So we have the great scene with Malcolm trying to win over Grant to his charms. He can't. But okay, so the new Jurassic World movie gets the original trio of actors back together, and I think it thinks that that this is a great trio of friends that we want to see together, but they're not. They're not they're not a trio, and Grant never actually likes Malcolm, and they're barely they barely even interact, and that's okay. I like that. I like that we see that that Grant doesn't like him, but not because he's an asshole or anything.
Just not his vibe.
They're just not vibing together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Grant says to Malcolm's like, hey, Dr. Sattler, is she available? And Grant says, no, she's with me. Is he telling the truth?
Yeah.
We think he's telling the truth?
They hug each
I
other
think
like
he's
they're
telling
lovers.
his truth.
He's telling his
I think
truth.
he's telling his truth. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that.
They're
It's just-
talking
so-
about kids.
If they asked Laura Dern, are you two together? What would she say?
As long as he can
I
put
think
out.
she would say no.
she would say no.
I
I think she would. She wants them to be together, but obviously they're not on the
Dr.
same
Grant
page.
just ain't
Right.
making the moves. You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
they're not on the same page.
Kids are a fucking deal breaker. Either you're going to have them or you're not.
I think you
Yeah.
nailed it.
Yep.
Yep.
You can't compromise on that.
All right.
They have
I can't
different
be
answers.
talking you into our spawn. Right.
So Nedry, back presses execute, turns everything off. Everything goes off, and his brilliant plan is, I'll just drive through the dinosaur park
What?
and reach the dock.
Right. And he hits the sign and he's
Yep.
like, well, which way does it look like it naturally would have pointed?
That was so funny.
Yeah. He's like,
I was like, what is that gonna do?
Yep.
let me just like look
Why
at it
did
in
they
the
make it
wild.
that way? Why do they make signs that do that?
He hit it off its nail. It wasn't doing that before.
Yes, but why
They
even
spare no
manufacture a
expense.
sign that you spin?
It doesn't spin. He
Yeah.
knocked it loose.
I actually really
Yeah.
like just seeing that all play out.
Oh yeah. It was
And then
great.
him saying to
It was
himself,
so
okay,
good.
you should have been there by now. Because I have certainly like had to take a 50-50 chance on one way or another. And at some point I'm talking to myself like, you should have hit the freeway by now. This is not correct. This is you're fucked. You really
Yeah.
wasted your
Yep.
time.
I'll just keep going. Maybe. It's still good. It's still good.
That man can't do anything in 15 minutes.
No, he's like, it's been
was-
25 minutes. Maybe I can make the boat. The boat's not
Boat's
gone.
gone, my dude.
He is Homer Simpson
The
with the
boat is
barbecue
gone.
pig.
You are going to be pulled on a raft. You're going to stand like this with your barbasol and pulled
Just
on a raft.
throw it in the
Yeah,
ocean.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you notice Nedry has a photo of Robert Oppenheimer on his desktop?
But what did we care about Oppenheimer
did not
until
catch
after?
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he's.
No, I'm not saying he wouldn't have. I'm just saying that's why we didn't notice.
I think it was like a fun fact. That's the guy who invented the atomic bomb.
Moving on. We've been on this slide.
Yeah.
Tick tock.
No, this is a podcast.
Oh, okay. I'm on a podcast.
Laci, we're doing great. We're making great time.
We're on the skates.
Yeah, the T-Rex thing happens. Guys, can you I can't imagine being in a theater in 1993
Oh,
and
I
seeing
can't.
this fucking
Sorry.
happen, and
I would have
Yeah, it's
lost
gotta be
my
amazing.
mind. I would have lost it.
well, and specifically hearing this happen, because there's no score for this. It is just sound. You just hear the fucking T-Rex
Yeah.
making his noises, then the thump.
I was terrified. This didn't scare me watching it this time, but like I remember this being the fucking scariest thing. And this is child danger, so it's right up there with some shit
that's true, yeah.
that I would be worried about. But I know ultimately they're
Yes.
going to be taken care of by Grant and his little arms. So like I'm okay.
You have Grant saying,
Fuck
don't
those
move.
kids.
He can't see us if we don't move, but he can't control that in the other car. They
Right.
don't know that, so
Turn off
they're
the flashlight,
turning
you
on the
stupid
flashlight.
bitch.
And like,
Turn
That was so terrifying.
I know.
Because I'm thinking like what it would be like to be a kid in that situation.
And they
Right.
get left.
And then that little ass glass broke.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
They were holding on to
Spare no
Yep.
expense, Grandpa. And like, and their dad just left him, and now this fucking lawyer leaves him. And
in the book, that's Malcolm. Malcolm is the one who runs
shut up
away into
in
the toilet.
book, fucking
just
throw
saying.
half out of a
Oh,
goddamn
I'm glad
trash.
they changed that.
Me too.
Wow.
But you know what? It does
I'm
take
so
Malcolm and Grant a weirdly long time before they decide. They are watching the full attack, and they're like, "Let's just see how this plays out." I don't know.
Right.
It seems dangerous.
Maybe the T-Rex will leave.
I'm kind of an expert in my field. Those are just kids. Right.
He is an expert. Yes,
They're
he's
both
like,
the two
Yes.
most experts.
They're
Are
like,
right there, like, should we die?
what is
or
your
those-
expertise telling you
Maybe
what to
those
do,
random
Ian?
kids should die. The world needs us.
Yes, T-Rex, and it's cutting between animatronics and CGI, but in the rain, the CGI looks really good.
Yeah,
It looks
Yeah.
amazing.
I love
Even to
it.
this
It
day.
really does.
Yeah.
not glistening. It's a slippery dinosaur.
Yeah, I feel like the whole choreography of this scene is just so dope.
Yeah.
Like how everything played out was amazing. Well, I wanted to bring up something too because you mentioned seeing it in theaters. Now, I I may be wrong, but I can't remember. But this has never got like a IMAX re-release, right? Like to
I don't
IMAX
think so.
theaters.
I feel like that would be such a
They
big
need to
deal. We
fucking
would know
do that
about
shit.
it.
It gets like a Fathom, because Universal will put their movies out through Fathom or through the little like flashback distributors, but they've never done like a wide. Maybe they have. I don't know. Because last year was the 30th
They need to do
anniversary.
a
That would have
fucking
been
IMAX Jurassic Park re-release.
Yeah, that would have been the perfect time to do it, Matt.
Yeah.
yeah. The leaving money on the table. You want money?
You like money? You little
know what
money
I-
goblin? All right. So now here we are with the fucking and this is my favorite. And in my head, this is a raptor because I always remembered raptors doing this, but I was wrong. And this is where Wayne Knight's character gets his comeuppance.
Yep.
His beautiful fall down the most majestic waterfall wall I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
He's just tearing up this park. What is his plan? He is going full like scorched earth. He's not trying to get away with shit. This is the last time he's going to see these motherfuckers.
Well, yeah, it's like
He's just,
damage
like,
done.
He's
The only
ruining
way out.
everything.
The only way out is through. I've already fucked up my career. I'm going to jail. Maybe.
He even hits the big doors. Those are expensive doors, my friend.
Yep.
And he's there, like he sees the highway. He's almost home free, and the poor man slips. Now you know he's not going to catch his boat, and then the mud. It's also sad.
But the
Yep.
way he reacts
Yep.
to the dinosaur appearing, it's like he's he
you
knew
won't.
it was a dinosaur, but he's like, oh, it's a fucking dinosaur.
Great.
Yep.
Of all things, like you knew where you were, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he thought he had enough time. Like they're not gonna. Yeah, the fences are down, but they're not constantly touching the fences, right? They're just in their enclosures, living their life. He probably thought it would take some time before they realized they could just go over the fence, right? Because how many times
I'm
does
sure
a
that's what
dog
they
have to get zapped by the electric collar before they never do it again? So he kind of had the right idea.
Yeah,
Like
that's
they're not just constantly going, "Can I? Can I? What about now? What about now? Now?" Right. So
Yeah. And I like his reaction too when he like, you see the stick? One stick?
right.
Go with the stick.
He knows computers. He does not know dinosaurs.
Yeah.
One thing I do remember from being a kid is like him getting attacked in the truck, like scaring me for some reason because you can't see what's happening.
Right.
You
Yeah.
see that shit rocking, he's screaming. That just kind of
blinding.
fucked with my mind for some reason. Yeah.
Going blind is scary as hell. And you already know that
Yep.
spit does a certain amount of damage and he will be paralyzed soon. So once he's spat on, he's done. You know that
done.
because they said
Yeah.
that earlier. It's like, oh, you fucked now.
when I was a kid, I thought when the shaving cream, ends up in the puddle in the rain, I'm like,
That's number 2. That's how you get your sequel.
well, I did think like, oh, that must go create more dinosaurs in the rain. That's how it works.
It impregnated the earth.
So
It's been implanted.
It's 5,000 years from now. The way we get dinosaurs is you find a Barbasol can, and then you put your thing in there, and
There
bingo,
are-
all the dinosaurs.
entire religion springing up devoted to the Barbasol can.
Right. This is the womb.
Oh my God, that reminds me in the new fucking movie, because Louis Dodgson is the main antagonist of the new movie. Dodgson, he's the antagonist, and he has this
Yep.
fucking Barbasol can in his office, and he looks at it. Like, that's where it all started.
Nostalgia.
Oh, gross. That movie.
Yeah. They tried everything they could with that one. They threw everything at the fucking wall. With that movie.
Everything, and none of it
Did
worked.
they take him to space? They did not.
Gotta go to space.
They tried not making it a dinosaur movie. How about a locust movie? No, you don't want that. How about a Jason Bourne movie? No, you don't want that.
Nope.
It really is. Yeah, it's like 7 different movies.
Okay, this tree.
All of them shitty.
Yep.
This fucking
So
tree.
yeah, Alan Grant has to
this
save
isn't
the
the tree.
kids. Save the kids. Timmy is up in the tree, and
Timmy's in the well.
Timmy's up in the tree.
Timmy's always getting fucked up.
It is, the screenwriting seminar would say the formula is, this man who doesn't like kids now learns to be a protector. It's very basic, but it is done
Yep.
so well because,
He's reluctant.
but
Eases
see,
in.
I don't think he's a good person and he knows this is what he has to do. So he's going to do it.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a man of action. Lex says, the lawyer, he left us. That's not what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, yes, I'm in good hands with you, Dr. Grant. And like, there's never a moment where he plays it like it's a John Cena comedy or something where he's like, these kids are getting on my nerves.
Okay, stop saying what it's
Right.
But I'm saying what's good. This is all the directions it couldn't go. Lacey, we're making great time. It's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But this, like, all of this stuff is good, but this is kind of the stretch of the movie that's a little saggy for me.
Gotcha.
They go up into the tree
Okay.
that looks very plasticky and feed the brachiosauruses, and it's fine.
That tree
It's
is
fine.
wild. Tell me what kind of. I guess they have the cover of saying like they are breeding Jurassic plant
It's a
life.
Jurassic tree.
But it's a crazy fucking triple double thickness tree with all kinds of vines. It's basically a kid's playhouse.
It's
that
the
tree.
most- it's
Not
the
the one
most-
we're looking at, but the one that they're all sleeping.
That they sleep in.
It's the safest like hook tree I've ever. Swiss Family Robinson tree.
It's the
Yeah.
most soundstage looking tree.
Yes.
And like they didn't know that we were
It
going to
is.
watch this in 4K one day.
Right. It looked plastic.
Yep.
It looked styrofoam. Right.
They did
like,
not
and
know
here's
that,
where the
yeah.
ladder
Very
is
suspenseful
installed.
scene though.
I think so.
Yeah.
And
I
I,
like
love
the
how
suspense
beat
of
up.
it.
I like the
I love
theme.
how beat up the kids are, and like the one kid like not walking right anymore, and it's like kind of. It really fucked that kid up.
The first thing Tim says to Grant is not like, holy shit, dinosaurs tried to kill me. First thing he says is, I threw up.
Oh no! Don't tell me. I don't.
Yeah.
That part breaks my heart every time. I don't. Bodily fluids happen. You don't see it enough. Anytime something terrible happens to anyone in a movie, I always check their ass. Like, did they poop? But they never.
Hardly
there's
ever
never any
happens.
poop.
Hardly ever
Never
happens.
any
You're
poop.
right.
I know.
No, more accurate
true.
representation of bodily fluids in cinema. That's what we are calling for on Load Bearing Beams. Okay, back at headquarters,
HQ. Mm-hmm.
John Hammond is eating ice cream, and this scene exists because they need these actors to have something to do. And he's like, next time, we'll do
Man,
it.
I wanted to be in that room so bad eating that ice cream when
I
I
could
was
help.
younger.
Oh, yeah.
I was
feel
like,
like I could
oh,
help.
they had all the greatest flavors.
And they had like a buffet.
He spared no expense. They got all the flavors.
All I want in life
Good.
is somebody to say, somebody help me eat all this ice cream, please. It never happens. It never happens.
If it's
Yes.
what I have to do to save this
I'll
part,
take it.
then
I'll take it
do
for the team.
Yep. She was like, oh, it is good. And
I'll
I was like, I
shoulder that
bet you
burden.
it is.
Eat all the ice cream.
Although I don't like soupy ice cream, so I'm kind of like, am I helping?
We all sniffed this egg, Matt.
Yeah, we're looking at Alan Grant sniffing a dinosaur egg, and
Why
you know at
did
first
he sniff the
I was
egg?
wondering-
I don't, because
Why-
he's
why
he's
is he
a
sniffing this egg?
dirty freak.
But then I thought, what a dumb question to ask. He's Alan Grant. He's gonna sniff the
You know,
egg,
he's
and I would sniff
sniffing-
the egg too.
That woman's womb before they have sex, all the just like, oh yeah, eggs.
You're ripe tonight.
Oh yes. I'm going to fossilize
sorry,
He
his-
wrote
your.
about that in his report.
Yeah.
His New Zealand accent comes and goes throughout this movie.
Yeah.
And you know, we get Lex here drops the exposition. I'm a computer hacker. I know all about computers. So you're like, oh, I
Thank
wonder
you.
if that'll come back later.
There's no way.
And back at HQ
Give
again,
me them nipples.
we see
Ian.
Malcolm
Shit.
has nothing to do.
Chest out.
Full on.
In the book, Malcolm gets wounded and spends the second half of the book in like a morphine induced delirium, just monologuing.
Okay.
Instead of having him do that, they just have him
Like on the side.
sit on a bench, being like, "I can talk on the walkie-talkie if you want."
I'm over here. I'm over. Anyone see my nipples? Hello.
And we did see the
This
Shirt open.
dinosaur tore open my shirt.
We every time I press on a circuit breaker, I do say push to close. Do you all do that as well? Push to close. Push it.
Yes. That was really weird. And pump it.
Pump it. You gotta pump it and then push to
Pump
close.
it 3 times.
And she's like, "Oh no, totally, yes. 1, 2, 3. I've always done this. 4." I'm like, "How does she know?" I'd have been like, "Am I doing it? Am I pumping?"
But we finally, like, then the Raptors finally make their appearance. And again, I was surprised this time that the Raptors don't show up until this late in the movie, but they've been teased so well throughout.
Yes.
Sattler and Muldoon go to try to turn the power on, and he's the great raptor hunter, and he's been like the Raptors hype man throughout the movie. He's like, just wait till you see these raptors, they're gonna kill you all. And finally,
Exactly.
they show up, and he tells Ellie Sattler to run in. He's gonna hunt them. He's very confident in his ability to hunt
He
these
is.
raptors.
He knows that he's responsible for probably killing the human race. Like he's conflicted the whole time. He kind of has the ability to leave, but he's getting paid. Like he knows this
Yep.
is the problem animal, and he's blaming Hammond and saying he should all be killed. But like, no, dude, you're the expert. You could walk away and make this not a possible. He's got guilt. So he's got to handle this.
Which is the problem when you work in a corrupt system. You're like, if I don't do the job, someone else is going to do it. Do I have any individual culpability? And the answer is, of course you do. You're still choosing to be there.
Yep.
No, and that's why he chooses to be the one.
Yeah, the Raptors start to attack. And it fucking rules.
I didn't even notice that, but yeah, the second black man dies. I did. Why?
Yep.
Oh man! And there
No
was
Negroes left in this film.
Yep.
there was a fuck. I forgot the story. There is a story about why Samuel L. Jackson's death is off screen. I fucking forgot it though.
Like he just couldn't be there for the rest of
I
the
don't
filming?
know. I don't know. I gotta go make a movie for someone named Quentin Tarantino.
Whoever that is.
I do like the the hunter's death here because it happens just how Grant described to the kid, which is just, I think, super dope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so well seated, and
he knows as soon as he feels this sniff, he's done.
And-
Yep.
I've already fallen for it. I thought I was looking at the side person. I was looking at the front person, and I'm fucked. Yeah.
Got him.
Bob Peck is the actor who plays Muldoon, and the reason Clever Girl is so iconic is like you could see it in his face. He knows he's going to die, but he admires this
respects them.
animal.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. Yep. He admires it. Yep.
So they finally make it back to visit to the visitor center. We have the iconic, I keep saying iconic, the iconic shot where Lex eats the Jell-O. This is Lex 30 years later, the actress Ariana Richardson recreating her famous Jell-O scene.
One of those rare situations
That's cool.
where the kid actor doesn't go south or north, just exactly
East.
Exactly as attractive as the kid version, like a Drew Barrymore. Like,
Tell us
cute
more about
and
how
then
attractive
cute.
kids are.
Well, I'm saying kid actors usually fuck you. Kids actors usually go like way more attractive than they were as children. Those sexy
Got
children.
another island you can visit.
All right, fuck you.
And this is a this is a painting that
Making a perfectly good point.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay, great.
Well, okay. This is the painting that, or whatever medium this is, that the actress did of herself with the Jell-O.
Cute.
Oh, okay.
The kid's sitting there eating the food, and there's the raptor artwork, and then the real raptors lurking behind. So amazing.
So dope.
That was
Yep.
good.
Testament to storyboarding your movies. You figure these things out ahead of time. You know it would look really cool, and we'll draw it, and we'll figure out how it's going to look, and then we'll know how to shoot it. And then there's the kitchen attack, which is it's one of the best horror sequences
It's the boat.
ever. It's the
Jaws on the boat.
It's Jaws on the boat.
So the most iconic part of the
most
movie.
iconic part of the
And
movie,
I'll
yes.
thank you for not continuing to tell me that it's a fucking Jeep scene. I'll thank you.
Well, I mean, I feel okay. We'll talk later.
We will not.
I like it.
I will
when
be
the raptor
sleeping
does his little-
and watching
Oh
Minecraft
yeah, when the
videos.
raptor's tapping his claws and stuff.
I like
Yeah.
that.
It's all the little things, and they're the things that stick with you. The little claw, and you've seen raptor claws throughout too. You know what claws can do, and suddenly the claw is
Yep.
Yep.
tapping on the
And
ground.
it seems like such a nuisance. You know when you have that one long nail and you just can't type right or whatever? It's just like, they got to be annoyed with that thing.
Yeah.
Watched all the Jurassic Park movies in the past week.
Fucking overachieving.
When I watched Jurassic World, it was like my kingdom for anything even approximating a scene like this, which generates even a modicum of tension. Oh, AJ is putting up his hand to control me, and of course, it is working. like Owen Grady, he's able to control all living things by putting up a hand. And suddenly, I'm like, "Ooh."
Dog.
And at the end of the movie, he of course gives a knowing nod to Blue the Raptor. I'll see you again,
Yeah.
partner. Yeah,
next time, girl.
but just in terms of just simple filmmaking, just blocking and moving through a scene and moving the camera so you can track things and knowing where they are and knowing where the opposition is. This is
Yeah.
like, it couldn't be better. And there's nothing like this in the new movies, or at least in the Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No.
What do we think of Lex being able to use the computer to get everything back
I
on?
had
the
to
I was like, what is she looking at? I was
Kid
like,
genius.
I've never seen
Sims.
anything like this on a computer.
She's looking at fucking Mist or some kind of like old computer game. But it's a bit of a hack move, if you ask me.
She's like, I know this.
Well,
I know this.
in the book, Tim was the older sibling and he was the computer guy. So it's like, and
Oh,
Lex was just
okay.
the annoying little sister, because that's like, and when they made this movie, they're like, well, how about we give some of the good traits to the sister
That's
too?
actually very nice.
Yeah, it was a good idea.
That was nice.
If you told me this is what happens, that the girl is able to save the day with the computer, I'd be like, oh, that's some fucking cheesy bullshit. But I am riveted. I am riveted to see her do it and figure it out. I'm so happy for her when she does it.
Oh my God, we really appreciate your support, us women.
Women in STEM, yes.
God.
Yes.
We need you to champion us.
And the Raptors are closing in on them as they almost escape the visitor center, but then the T-Rex shows up again. They had a different ending scripted. Did you guys see that in the script? Was it different? The very end with the Raptors?
I don't remember now. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I think they scripted a smaller, just sort of like they escape the Raptors and like push a Raptor into a skeleton or something.
Into a skeleton.
Yeah, well, now the T-Rex throws one of the Raptors
things
into the
inside
skeleton.
of the thing. Yeah.
Yep.
And they decided the T-Rex needs to come back. He's the real star of the show. He needs to come back and save the day.
I was just going to say it's very Kong. Like, you're misunderstanding this animal. He wants his pin.
He does. And when I was a kid, I was like, T-Rex is good now. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, we all love the T-Rex, man. Shit after this. No.
Any guy with a disability, just can't. I feel for him. He's overcoming his adversity, making up with it with that birthday cake of a dump truck. Look at that back half. Stop it.
So they got the dump truck.
I did like the way that the Raptors kind of like attacked them. It's like,
yeah.
And let's give it up for these Raptors opening up the doors. Remember, he was like, "Oh, unless they can open up doors," and here they go opening up the door.
Yeah,
give them the most basic ass door. Could you do a little push or some sort of? I'd like to see him turn a knob, but yeah, you can push the handle. My 2-year-old could do that. You could do that on accident.
It was so funny. Dr. Grant was like looking at it in his face. He's like,
isn't there a scene in the kitchen part where you can see like the actor using the Raptors?
That's what they said, but I've looked at it again and I can't see it.
Is it? It's like a lore thing. Like if you, okay, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to.
Like an Easter egg thing or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they run out of the building as John Hammond niftily pulls up in his Jeep, and Ian Malcolm's laying back. Hi, I'm here too. And Alan Grant jumps in as he says his pithy little line, I've decided not to in Jurassic Park. And he's been thinking about that for hours and hours.
And he's like,
he couldn't wait to talk to his ass.
And of course, John Hammond says, so have I decided not to endorse.
See?
You don't need
do
that
we got time for this conversation? Can we get back to the plane?
Get in the helicopter. We got a whole trip.
There's a big ass T-Rex.
Right. We got to fill the hours of something. On the fucking helicopter.
He's like, wait, I thought of something cool too. Hold on.
Yeah, one thing I want to add to the, like the final scenes, like when on the helicopter and like Dr. Grant is like all chilling with the kids, like,
oh yeah,
like he's more comfortable. He's looking at Laura Dern's character, and they're kind of like having a moment. I know. And he's like, shit, all right, we might be able to work out. I might want kids now.
See, I don't think he actually.
And we get nothing.
Right.
Because I don't think he actually did decide he wants kids. He's just, in this situation, he was a good protector. Yeah. That is a lot of work. He's done it. Now he realizes, I'm going to have to do a lot of work.
He wants to be free to dig. He's really, they do a lot of good job of showing that he's kind of a kid at heart. How he just immediately hugs the Triceratops. He doesn't go pet it. He goes, I love you. He has just got too much more exploration in him.
Well, sorry to say this again, but in the book,
Are you?
One more thing about the book.
Fucking go for it.
Okay, if there's one thing you know about Alan Grant, it's that he doesn't like kids. But you read the book, and it's 400 pages into the book, and Alan Grant meets Tim, and the narrator says, Dr. Grant liked kids. Kids liked dinosaurs. And you're like, what? In the book, Dr. Grant likes kids.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
It's just interesting.
But it does make sense. He's like, because kids love dinosaurs. So they look up to him as the man who loves dinosaurs and knows all about dinosaurs.
Okay, what are our final thoughts and star ratings? Yes.
Yes, we're going to go around the room now and give our final thoughts on Jurassic Park and our ratings out of 5 stars, starting with our esteemed guests.
Yeah, I'd go like 4.5 out of 5. Like 100%. Like this movie's excellent. It's a lot of a lot of it I'm sure is like nostalgia, right? Like that adds to it. But there are like a couple of slower moments, but you know, they're the iconic moments and suspense moments and just the overall characters that you can root for outweigh like the slower moments for me. So I'd probably go like 4.5, 4.75. I can't give it like a 5 out of 5.
I have a hard time with the 5s too. I have a hard time.
But we don't allow quarter stars, so we're gonna stay with your 4.5.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I absolutely love this movie, hands down. I mean, everyone who knows me knows that. But it isn't a perfect movie. So yeah, I would say like 4.5 as well. Just because there are some small nitpick things I have about it. But if I were to base it off my heart, I would say 5 stars.
I think that's fair. I think there is such a thing as a heart rating and in your more critical eye. I appreciate that. I 4.5. Yeah, same.
Do you like it more or less than E.T.?
Way fucking more. Yeah.
I give it.
E.T. just pulls at my heartstrings too much in like a I'm doing homework way.
Yes, you feel it too powerful.
Well, and I'm doing work, right?
Like
I could use this as a good night movie because there's something very comforting about Jurassic
It's a very
Park.
soothing movie.
It's soothing.
But horror is comforting. Like that's
certain
people who love. I think like for people who love horror, like there's nothing more relaxing to me than a Friday the 13th movie. Like just put that on and
that's a very cozy movie. Yeah.
Okay, for me, 5 stars. This is I don't think a movie has to be perfect for it to be like a 5-star movie. I think that like 80% of this movie is just like top-notch, all-time great action adventure, horror, sci-fi. It is Spielberg at the top of his game, even as he was one foot was out the door to get to Poland to film Schindler's List. He still knows so much what he's doing. Yes,
when
Laci.
you're the one that poisoned the well with your fucking 70 minutes are good, 15 minutes are great, and then bullshit. You poisoned the well.
Sorry.
We all gave it a 4.5 because of you.
Well, this is my big surprise. I give it 5 stars. I know you're all like, what?
Loser.
But no, I love this movie. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Plot twist.
Shyamalan twist.
Yes.
I think it's one of his best. And I think that if you read like critics at the time, they're like, I mean, the dinosaurs are cool, but the humans are lame. And this is just mindless spectacle. But this plays like a fucking art movie now when you compare it to blockbusters that get made today.
They didn't know what they had.
That's always how it works. You didn't
Look at those
know.
people now when they're watching Godzilla movies.
You didn't know what you were losing with the animatronics, with the practical effects,
They're
and
always
just
trying to do the next best thing, not realizing they've got the best thing.
and people reading this book about how critics reacted to Spielberg. They're complaining about Spielberg as a name brand when now all we want is for a director
To have a brand.
Well, and a director who makes original movies,
Right.
even if they're big and aimed at families. Like, I feel like somebody like Jordan Peele, honestly, might be the only person working now who gets to like work at a big budget and make his own ideas that aren't tied into a big franchise.
Well, and get to take his time and like do the full thing, not rushed constantly. Yeah.
Even Spielberg himself doesn't really get to do it anymore, or
He's
at
had
least
too many misses. Jordan Peele has not missed.
or at least like, I don't know, he's just not that interested in doing it anymore. But that's
I feel like some people say, some critics say Jordan Peele has missed. I feel like I know a lot of people who didn't like.
I mean, how many
Nope
amazing
and stuff
ideas
like
are
that.
in any one head? And he constantly makes us think.
oh, well, I like all three of his movies, but I just mean in terms of like studio, the studio is willing to spend a lot of money to let him
Faith
Yeah.
from the
Oh, right.
do
studio.
what he wants, and it doesn't have to be adapting a comic book or remaking a TV show or whatever. It can just be, I had
him
an
and
idea.
Christopher Nolan. That's pretty much it.
Nolan's the other guy, but I feel like Nolan's older. So I just kind of slot him more in the Spielberg generation. But yeah, Nolan would be the other guy who gets to just make who's like a brand unto himself.
Tarantino? How is that not?
Yeah, you're right.
Tarantino's, of course. Tarantino's another one that does not miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are three directors that we just
There
named.
we go. You're welcome.
AJ and Kristie, tell everybody one more time about In Love with Horror, where to find it,
Where can
and
we
why
find
they
you
should
guys?
consume your great podcast.
Where can we get your Patreon situation? You know, can we support you guys?
So you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Apple. Just search In Love with Horror. It'll pop up on any of those.
Look for the really cool
and-
skeleton purple hand hearts. That's how you know you found their
Yes,
logo.
that's us.
It's
Yeah,
the
that's how you
hand-
know it's us. Yeah, that's our
iconic.
logo.
AJ, did you see your avatar had the logo on your hat?
I saw it. Yes.
Okay,
Because I always put it on. You know, I got to
That's
protect
right.
the bald head. You know.
You got to. I've been trying to tell Matt, accept your bald head. He can't do it.
I need to
Hey,
start doing hats.
Hey, you got to accept it.
Got to accept
I
You
it.
accepted
held
it a
on
lot.
for a long time,
It
though.
wasn't that long.
It was
chill.
long.
It wasn't that long.
It was long.
Relax. It was not that long. How was I?
Time to let it go.
Yeah.
Time to let it
AJ,
go.
I was
question for
like-
AJ. Question
It
for
was like
AJ,
mid
please.
20s when I shaped it.
Question for AJ.
I meant like
Yeah.
Did you wear hats before?
Yeah, I did actually.
Oh, okay.
did.
See, that's
Yeah.
my problem. I don't wear hats, so if I suddenly started wearing hats,
It's a big change.
people would be like, "What are you trying to pull?"
Well, I just think you
Oh,
should
okay.
just be okay with your bald head for a while and then work in the hats. Like, oh, fun.
Yeah.
He's got two new looks.
Okay.
Whatever.
You can make it work. I'm telling you, you just
You can
gotta
make it
go
work.
for it. You just
Okay.
gotta
You
probably
fuck it
have
and do it.
A great head under there. We don't know. We won't know until we find
We
out.
won't know. We'll imagine what we're gonna find there. Sorry.
Okay.
Keep
Right.
in love with horror. The podcast.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
can find us on all that. I don't know if you wanted to
no.
plug anything else, but yeah, that's pretty much
Oh
it.
well, you forgot to mention our Patreon.
Oh, well,
Yes.
yeah. Shit. What's our URL for that shit?
You just go to their TikTok and then you go to you
Searching love
you go to their TikTok and then you go to their link tree, right? Do you have
Oh
a
yeah,
link?
that's true.
Yeah, and
It'll
you can
be
buy
in-
us a coffee in there too. Like,
Yes. No, hey,
shit.
don't you undersell yourself, man. Okay. You buy the full $5.99. They are worth it.
Link in the description to this episode. Link to all of their stuff. Please do support them. They're great. I listen to their podcast every week, and they do YouTube lives.
2 week.
They do YouTube
Yes.
videos, reviews, non-spoiler reviews of new horror movies, all kinds of good stuff. So please do check them out.
And unlike many podcasts, they are regular.
What do you mean by regular?
They're organized. They have a format, and you can count on when their episodes will drop.
It's
And
important.
just so many podcasts don't do that.
So now for our business. Next week, episode 120, The Summer of Spielberg continues with an episode about Minority
I
Report.
fucking love
Yay,
that
I'm
movie.
excited about that.
Very
one.
excited to go back to Minority Report, the movie I have one slot ahead of Jurassic Park in my Spielberg rankings.
I'm excited because of the technology and like what did they get right, what did they not? But I think it's probably more than we think.
I feel like its biggest legacy is that it got the swipe technology right.
God, did it? Or did it
Yeah.
influence Tinder? Like
Well,
Tinder's
yeah.
like, I need to do this.
Wait, what did he just do?
Do it again.
Yeah.
That is such a good burn. Fuck you, ugly girl.
But load bearing beams. Thanks to everybody for listening or watching.
Thank you.
We like when you do either.
It's fun.
Yeah, we have the audio podcast and the video podcast. It's the same thing on both sides, but listen wherever you get your podcast.
Plus, there was 2 music videos in this episode: the opening and the
Dope
surprise song.
music.
So
Hey,
you might
dope
want
music,
the visual.
y'all. You got to support.
Thank you. Check it out on our social media, which you can find us on Twitter, Load-Bearing Pod. My personal Twitter is Matt Stokes9. The show's on Instagram at Load-Bearing Beams. The show's on TikTok at load.bearing.beams. I'm on TikTok at Matt Stokes9.
Ask your doctor. This could. I'm sorry. It just sounds like you're rattling off. Matt Stokes 9 is Letterbox. Letterbox Laci at Letterbox. Come on.
Load-Bearing Lacy is what your letterboxed handle is.
Every time I mess it up.
My band is called Rural Route 9. We do the music for Load Bearing Beams, including the music, the song you're hearing right now, playing underneath this, and we do the Summer of Spielberg theme, and you can find our music on Spotify, Rural Route 9.
Roll, 9.
AJ and Kristie, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you.
and
We
spending
love
so
you for
much
having
time
us.
with
Hey, thanks
us.
for having us. This was so much fun talking about
It's
Jurassic
like
Park
a
with y'all.
date
Thanks
night
again for
with
having
you
us.
guys every time. Date night. Oh,
Yeah.
and go
Right.
check our episode out for Bloody Valentine over on In Love with Horror.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
on
Yeah,
In
that
Love
was
with Horror,
dope.
talking
That was
about
fun.
Check that out.
That was so fun.
the original My Bloody Valentine and the 2009
Yes.
remake.
And
We'll link to that as well.
Yep.
AJ points out that man chose violence. That's still my favorite part of the podcast. He woke up and he chose violence.
Don't be
He
like that
did.
man.
He did. He killed a whole hospital wing. All right.
Do you love anything? Bye.
Oh, I love you. Okay, there you go. Bye.
everybody. LeBaron Creams, LeBaron